Brandon and all them were talking about how the ATS is the best one for the snap-on. Well, apparently the 0 to 100 snap-on transducer works well for in-cylinder.
Yeah, but you're not going to see your pressures.
Yes, you will, actually. But that's only 100 PSI. That doesn't seem like it would be high enough, right?
That's what I was saying. It's not going to.
Yeah. I think I'm just going to go with the ATS one.
Yeah, we got 5 thumbs up already.
Oh, you switched it to live, huh?
Yeah, we started live right when you said 100 PSI transducer.
Well, apparently, I guess the 0 to 100 snap-on transducer picks up vacuum, and anything higher than that doesn't. Now, I haven't tried it, but I don't know if it's worth spending $325 for a transducer. Probably not.
Just get the ATS one.
I'm just gonna buy. Yeah, I'm just gonna buy the ATS one and be done with it. Now, what are you doing? I'm talking to my son. Sorry. So, anyways, so this NVH, who's all in here right now? Do we know?
It doesn't tell me.
Oh yeah, that's right. They got a comment. Comment. Say what's up, so we know who's in here.
There's 10 people already. We're popular.
We're all sitting at the cool kid lunch table. I was rushing to get out of work. I'm doing manifolds on a 543 valve. And they are rusty.
Oh, Brian's here.
What's up, Brian?
I like how I put the little YouTube logo next to him.
What's that?
I put the little YouTube logo next to his icon.
Text you? Oh my goodness. That's too much work. All right, I'll text her. Yes, okay. Texting my girlfriend to get me some rolling papers. Pickup, zig, zag, orange.
How are you, Henry? We're just waiting for some people to join before we get started. Just giving everybody a warning, I am not an expert on NVH.
Yes, he is. He was telling me how he knows everything. I was like, oh, really? That's actually good though, Rob, because
they can learn as I learn.
Then we can all learn. Sometimes training, like if you're the instructor, like you learn the most. Well, a lot of times. What's going on, Henry? How are you doing tonight, man? It's a good night tonight. This is like, I'm kind of digging this live stream on Thursday nights. We got to do this more often, I think.
We didn't even do it yet, and he's like, we got to do it more often.
That's right. I'm already feeling good. But I'm also, well,
2 minutes in, we got to do this more often.
I'm just optimistic. Who's here? Roscoe? Yo.
I wish there was a way to change our RV time.
I feel so much more prepared tonight.
The one that's not doing most of the presentation is more prepared.
Yes, it does, Brian. Absolutely. That's one of the biggest things. Like, if you really want to get better at something, try teaching something or training. You don't have to know it all, just like rely on your students to help you out. How's the weather? You're dang right, Joe. The weather is cold. Oh, it was so satisfying blowing all those studs off them manifolds today with the torque. Oh, I don't know what it is. It's like satisfying work. So this NVH kit, how much does it run?
This one's $1,000.
$1,000, huh?
Yeah, it's $1,000 for the dual, the 2 sensors, and then it's like $400 for the optical pickup. The optical pickup, yes. Yeah, it's all from Pico.
Okay.
The optical sensors for driveshaft balancing on the vehicle.
And that's what picks up the RPM, right?
Yes.
Hold on.
It has a little laser.
That's similar to like an optical pickup on like a distributor with an optical sensor, right?
Oh yeah, it'll pick up like a paint mark or these strips that they have. You cut these to size.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool.
I was actually going to experiment with trying to find a misfire on like an old like carbureted motor or diesel by putting multiple strips. Look, Joe's in here.
Yeah, Joe came in. He's interested in your NVH, man. You're the only guy rocking it, so as far as I know.
Yeah, there's a couple people with it. Nobody seems to.
You're the only one actually like putting it into application on like a video or something, as far as I know.
That is actually why I got it, because nobody else was using it.
I'm all for it, man. If it helps do noise diagnosis, that's a big one because nobody likes doing noise diagnostics, and if you do, there's something wrong with you. Oh, pay week. I mean, it's going to be a good weekend before Halloween. Oh, I got to remember to scroll on this. Let's see here. Alabama, huh? Oh, so ATS has one too then, or?
Yeah, ATS has one.
Okay.
I think the ATS starts at like 3,000.
That's a lot.
Well, Brian, when you use 2 of them, you can put them at 2 different spots on the car and then figure out which side has the highest frequency.
So
you can also look at time delay, so you can actually see which one's responding first.
Do those sensors, Rob, they're magnetic then?
Yeah, they're very, very strong magnets.
So they actually put good ones on there.
Yeah, right here is the magnet.
I gotta zoom in on that. Oh yeah.
So that's the magnet, and it's very strong.
Wow.
Like if you stick this on a painted surface without something between it, you're ruining it.
Well, that's good they actually thought of that, because like if you're putting it on something, can you actually put that on something that's gonna move? Like rotate?
Yeah, but it has a cable.
Oh yeah, duh. I guess you could.
Joe, it's $1,000 for the dual sensors with 2 of them. You get a single one, I think, for $600. And I think AES Wave runs specials. If you upgrade, they will discount it for you. I don't know what you mean by diesel compression measurements.
What's up, George? Can you now do a diesel compression measurement with Pico?
Yeah, I didn't know what he meant.
How's it going, Francisco? So what are we doing tonight, Rob, with that then?
We'll cover the tools and the application. Yeah, Joe, also they have the optical pickup, which is right here. We're doing Driveshaft Balancing, and this one is, I think, $400. You can do it right on the car. Because we know Joe loves his rear-wheel drive cars.
Are you a diesel tech, dependable auto truck?
Let's see.
Rob, you better have a lot of show, because there's a lot of people in here that are waiting on your glory hole.
Are they? Yeah, Joe, it's an add-on. I think you can buy it with a kit. There's like a enhanced kit or something it comes with.
Looks like they give you really nice cases for the equipment.
They are pretty nice. I'll tell you, the optical pickup's kind of a pain to put back in that foam because it bends all over the place. They cut the foam for the exact size of it. So
those sensors that they give you with the magnets, are they basically just like a piezoelectric, like a knock sensor? Is that what they are?
Yeah, but it's 3-axis.
So what does that mean? What's a 3-axis?
It does forward, backwards, and then side to side, and then like all these 3 axes.
So is it like a multi-axis acceleration sensor similar?
Yes, yes. They got a nice picture on here.
That's pretty wild.
I don't know if you, hang on, let me see. Let's see. I don't know if it'll show up.
Wow. It looks expensive.
And it also has microphones. You can switch to a microphone.
Shut up.
Yes. Yeah, because you can play tones through the radio using this kit to find vibrations in cars.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate that. That makes sense.
It hooks up to your headphone jack or Bluetooth, and then you can play its sweep tone through the car and then find your vibration.
So essentially, it's eliminating the need for chassis years.
Yeah, it's a very, very high-tech chassis years.
Thank God I spent the money on chassis years. Not.
I had the chassis years too.
I've got the Blue Point ones. They're wireless though. I mean, they're nice. I've used them, but not as often as I would have liked.
Are they the Bluetooth ones?
Yeah, they're Bluetooth. No, they're not Bluetooth. They're wireless to the receiver, but then you got to like clip. They're still wired. You know, they got the wire clips that go to the transceiver. You know, the transceiver, and then you got to clip it to the item or the object.
So it's the one that came out before the Bluetooth.
Yeah, but they had a sale on it. I think I got it for like $285, so I couldn't pass that up. And I have used it. Oh, Joe's sending me attachments. Oh my goodness.
Paula, you just got quiet.
Phone calls.
There you go. Now you're back. You're getting quiet.
What's a PIA, Brian? I got guys calling me because I'm looking for 45 ammo. Thanks. I wish it had wheels. I'd drive it. Costs more than my car. How many people you got in here, Rob?
15.
15. There you go.
13. I don't know how fast it responds. Let's see. The standard kit, which is in the photo or in the picture, should be $1,000. The optical pickup right here for balancing drive shafts is $400. I'll put links in the description of this once the live stream is done. Let's see. Okay, so we got that done.
Hey, I didn't get. It got quiet on my phone again. I don't know if that's because I got some message.
I can hear you fine.
Okay, make sure.
Just opening up a couple of files. Let's see.
Oh, Corey's in here.
Is he?
Yeah. Now you really got to perform. You got Joe, Corey.
I know.
Francisco Diaz, Henry,
Good thing
Brian.
you're the NBA expert.
That bar just keeps going up and up and up.
Yes, I was, Brian. But that'll be for a future video. Uh-oh, Keith is here too?
Who?
It said Keith in the background.
He's always in the background. You should know this.
He probably puts trackers on everybody's stuff.
Well, you got what? You're 30 minutes in, so whenever you're ready to start there, big shooter. Yeah, he is, Joe. He is everywhere. I kind of like it, though. Checks and balances. He pushes everyone. That's a good thing.
Let's see.
Keith, making one great check at a time. Hence the name, I guess. New level up.
You were cutting in and out a little bit for me.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what's going on.
You got lint in your microphone port?
Let me try playing with this thing again. Oh. That's what it is. This app is broken. Now I can hear
What is
everything.
broken?
Well, this app, like every now and then it gets really quiet, so I have to go into my audio settings and like switch from earpiece to speakerphone. It's probably this cheap China app that Rob chose to use.
It's not China, it's from Ukraine. I talked to him earlier.
Well, if you bust out that fat wallet and pay for a real live stream.
Yeah. Bust out the real wallet that has nothing in it.
Yeah.
The dust flies out.
I broke up with the girlfriend, so
You're rich.
me and Rob could be in a relationship with one another. He calls me more than her, so I might as well. It's all right. I'll play chapter 1.
Why, to make sure you weren't going to miss the live stream.
You are so concerned. Didn't even ask me how my day went. You wonder why I drink.
Let's see. Okay, so we got that.
All right. Well, I'm going to the bathroom.
Okay, when you get back, we'll start.
We need to get started when we get back. This guy right here is laying
As soon as you get back.
down.
That'd be funny, wouldn't it? You just keep Jack. He's the only one there. Just put him as solo.
Okay, Rob, I'm ready. You don't have to show my ugly mug if you don't want to either.
Well, Corey wanted us all to leave.
What? What did you want?
Corey's like, we should all hide. I think it was Corey.
Where are we hiding to? Chad's here too? Holy crap.
Yeah.
Awesome. Don't tell him, but I'm going to show him my homework that I kind of did. I've never been much for homework, Chad. But I think what he's doing is awesome, by the way. So.
What's up, Chad?
By the way, Keith, since you're in the background listening, the Train by Text live stream last night was stellar.
Paulie, if I take you off the main screen, can I still hear you? Can you guys still hear him? I have the 4425. Can somebody comment saying if they can hear Paulie or not? I just want to make sure that they can hear you so that it doesn't sound like I'm talking to myself. They can't hear you. I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on?
So oh wait, I can do a really big screen at the top.
I'm hoping I did this right and joined in the live stream correctly. Can you guys hear me?
Oh yeah.
Let's see if I can.
Rob, you're just gonna have to share your screen.
I'm going to, but I want to make this. I want to switch.
Me and Chad are very important people. We deserve to be on here.
Hold on. I'm gonna put my camera as the main.
Nathan, you're getting paid, right?
Did you catch that? Oh, he's playing. Keep it on that. Yeah, that one.
There.
Awesome.
See, whatever camera I put on first is the one that goes to the top.
Okay, yeah, well, that's a good one there.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, Chad, yes, I didn't even clock up. I just walked out the door. I was like, you know what, guys? You're just going to pay me.
No, Rob said he was going to pay me. He said $100 an hour.
I'll pay you for a minute at $100 an hour.
He's renting a motel by the hour for me when I come out there, so I've already been paid.
Get a 2-person hotel room and have 10 people stay there.
That's what I thought. Dude, I'm making a road trip every day.
So this is the Pico NVH standard kit. And inside the standard kit, you get 2 3-axis accelerometers. And you got your X, Y, and Z. And then you get 2 sensors that connect to them. They just screw in the bottom. And as soon as you screw them in, they turn on. You'll see the light flashing. And now, when you hook these up to the Pico, you can only have 4 channels max for the NVH. So if you're using 2 of these, you can use 3 from one, 1 from the other, or 2 on one, 2 from the other, or 4 different sensors, whatever you pick. And they come with really short leads. And then you can also connect the microphone. They come with microphones for each one that you can use for picking up sounds inside the car. And then another tool for the NVH is this optical pickup, which is magnetic for doing driveshaft balancing. So it has a little switch. I don't know if you guys can see the switch right here. When you flip this, it moves the magnet to the bottom to stick on surfaces. And then you can adjust it for on your drive shaft. And then it has an optical sensor, which is right here, this optical pickup. That's what comes in those kits. So
a quick question for you, Rob. What if you're working on a vehicle with an aluminum frame and an aluminum drive shaft, and there's nowhere to hook that magnetic base?
Wouldn't the differential still be aluminum? Something on the differential should be aluminum. I mean, it should be steel.
I suppose that's a good place to go. I'm not sure if any of them are using an all aluminum. I know if it's an independent rear suspension vehicle, then
you can set it on the floor.
Cradle is probably going to be steel.
You can set it on the floor.
What they should do is make it so you can zip tie the baby on or something.
It's pretty heavy. I don't think you're going to zip tie it too easily.
Because that's a good point. Like, what if you need to put it on like a lower control arm that's aluminum?
Well, this is for drive shaft bound. Oh, you're talking about the sensors?
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to put it on the control arm. You're trying to find the vibration. So you can stick it on the spindle. If the spindle's steel, if it's aluminum, then you're kind of screwed. Struts are always steel.
Joe says we could put some clamps on it. So I suppose you could mount a clamp on there. Even a hose clamp on the control arm might be enough metal to attach the magnetic base.
You can also probably thread something on here because it's threaded. Okay. You can move this to the side too. So if you want to attach to the side of something. I always put these on the seat. Like I'll stick them right on the seat. Like on the seat rail.
For feeling the vibration in the cabin?
Yeah.
But then how do you, I guess my question is, okay, so you can feel the vibration in the cabin, but how do you determine if that's, you know, the coming from the axle, one of the axles, or the drive shaft?
I can show you that when we get into the software.
Yeah, because that's what confused me.
Yeah.
And it's all based on the rotational speed of the frequency of the vibration, right?
Yeah, it's because in the software you type in like the gear ratios and everything. I'll bring it up real quick. Let's see.
See, I don't know if I could own one of those because then I'd have to test it on every single one of my vehicles. And I don't really feel like fixing the vibrations in my vehicles.
Yeah. I got a lot of vibrations in my vehicles.
Here we go. Showing stream.
Yeah, I'm gathering that, Brian. I guess that's what confused me is because I didn't realize to put all those settings in.
Well, you really only have to use one. You don't even have to use more than one.
So you can do most of the vibration analysis with just one magnetic sensor, and it'll pick up, all the vibrations of the cabin.
Yeah. Let's bring this up so it's at the main part of the screen. There we go. I don't know if you guys can see this good or not. Or if it's gonna be
Yeah, you may have to just go full screen on that, as long as you still
if
have
I
audio.
go full screen, it's gonna. I don't think they can hear you.
That's fine.
Yeah, you can just present it, and then we'll come back on later.
Okay. Okay, so in the software, I can hear you guys. So if you guys say anything to me, I can hear. So in the software, when you set this up, you go under Vehicle Setup, or Vehicle Information, right here. And then you can pick if it's front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive. And you set the number of cylinders. What are you saying? Oh. So you can select if it's a V-type, your tire sizes, and then if you go under Advanced Configuration, you can put in all your information for whatever gear ratios you have. The main ones to put in are your differential ratio and your tire. Because then, once all this stuff's in here, and you go for a test drive, it graphs everything by T, which a T vibration is your tire, and E is your engine. If you a P is going to be prop shaft. I think we can actually bring up a prop shaft in here. Let's see. Hang on, I'll make it a. Let's see. I don't know if I have. Yeah, let me open up another one that has prop shaft. This one will have a prop shaft vibration. So a T vibration, I mean, like a T1 would be a tire, and that'd be one vibration per tire rotation. A T2 would be 2 vibrations per tire rotation. A T3 would be 3 vibrations, and then your P would be prop shaft or drive shaft. And then that would be same thing, like 1 vibration per prop shaft rotation. Yes. Oh, hold on. Let me bring you up. Because I don't think they can hear you. I'll bring you guys up.
The comment, but he had a question about like what are you supposed to do if you don't know what ratio you have on those items?
I don't know. Guess you have to guess, because it's going to be a major point. If you don't, I guess you can move your sensors around and find out what the biggest vibration you have is and try to narrow it down that way. Because you can look at, in here they have a time domain right here, which you can see which sensor, channel A or channel B, is responding first. Because like on this vehicle, I was using 2 sensors at the same time.
Well, I suppose like if you were going for like say you were going for like an engine vibration, couldn't you put like a sensor on the component instead of worrying about the ratio? Like you would like. Say again?
You can.
So you can still use it like a conventional chassis here.
Yeah. But gear ratios should be pretty easy to find unless somebody just threw something random in there. If it's a modified.
What they're doing, what they're doing is they're basically taking like tire size into consideration, gear ratio into consideration.
Yeah, they're taking it all in because like if you look here, you'll see if I start this and play it, you'll see the vibrations start coming up as we're accelerating because this one had a prop shaft vibration, and you'll see the P1 will start coming up.
And see, I've seen some other people use it, and I just always assumed like the P1 was the prop shaft first order of harmonics, and then P2 was the second order I thought it was all based off of harmonics. I didn't realize that it was one vibration per revolution, or 2 or 3 or 4.
Right. Yeah, well, a P1 will always be an imbalance in a component.
Where did you find that information at?
If you go up to the Help tab right here and you press Show Vibration Help, we can cover this. Let's see. How am I gonna? Let's see. I'll have to make this another window.
So if you had 1 vibration per rotation of the prop shaft, then you're assuming that it's an imbalance because it's throwing that weight around. Whereas if you had like a potential U-joint that was bad, or binding, is probably going to bind going both directions. So that might vibrate.
Yeah, a bad U-joint will always be a P2 or a P4.
Now, what if it has a CV joint on one end, like a Chrysler product?
If it's on the side with the tri-cup, you're going to see probably you're going to see a P3.
The drive shaft, like on the front of a Jeep. They run
you would
a
have
constant
to have an
velocity
four-wheel
joint.
drive.
Okay.
Oh, well, it's going to depend on the number of balls that are inside of it. Let's see, why did this thing? So it depends on how many balls are inside that CV joint. If it has 6, you're going to see a P6.
Jeez. Whoever thought of this was really thinking, we'll just say that.
Hang on, let's see, where is this?
Puts a whole new level on driveline specialist. Just saying.
Let's try this again. Let's see if that shares this time. There we go. I'm gonna have to tell them that they need to make a way to move these around.
Hey.
Why is There we go. Okay, so here's the help file. The help file is actually really, really helpful. I don't know if you guys can see that or not.
Yep.
Does that help at all? So in the help file, if you go under vehicle related vibrations, you'll see right here, first orders. So first order for a tire, it says tires out of round, wheels out of balance, brake drum or rotor out of balance, axle flange or hub run out, and vehicle stud circle run out. Stiff spots in the sidewall. Then when you go underneath second order, something that can cause a second order too, which I actually have a capture of it somewhere. If you have 2 tires out of balance, you will see a P1, and then it'll move into a P2, and then it'll go back to a P1, because they'll be going in and out of phase with each other. Same if you have like 3 tires that aren't balanced. You'll see it gradually go up to a P3 and then work its way back down as they come in phase. It's pretty neat. But you'll see right here.
A P1 or a
T1?
T1?
Sorry, not P. I meant T. T, okay. Tire.
So do they have like an index telling you what the code? What am I trying to say? What the order is? Like meaning like T is for tire. P is. Do they have an index in there?
Yeah, I think if. Well, I'd have to go back. But I think when you click add vibration, it actually shows you what they mean. Or if you hover over top of it, when it's graphing it, if you hover over top, it has a help thing, and you click on it, it tells you what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, so pretty much all these T's are just going to be related to tires or something spinning at the same as the tire. And then when we get into prop shafts, this is where you find all the stuff on bad U-joints. So you can see here, when we click on first order, it'll say first order is caused by out of round, something vibrating at the same speed. And another thing that can cause a P1 is a drive shaft that isn't straight. That 2008 Silverado that I did, the carrier bearing was off center, and it caused a P1 vibration because it was two-piece drive shaft. Because your U-joints are not working at the same angles anymore to cancel each other out. And when you go into a second order, this is where we got incorrect vehicle trim, failing U-joint, and improperly phased drive shaft, which was that CarDAQ video I did. When I put that on, it didn't have the alignment dots to line it up to phase the 3-bolt flange to the U-joint, and then it caused a nasty vibration. And I used this to clock it. And there's what you were asking about the CV axles. See, third order, failing or binding constant velocity joint.
And I suppose even if it had, you know, if there's a constant velocity with 6 balls in there, it may still cause a 3 vibrations per rotation.
Yeah.
Just the way the movement is.
I think you'd probably just see a 6 though, because of having 6 joints. I mean 6 balls. You'd probably be able to know which side it is, because you'd know if it was the side with the 3 balls or the one with the 6. But I think if we go under other orders, I think that's when they talk about the other side.
It showed a picture of it in the third order.
Okay.
Down at the bottom of the screen there. The double offset joint.
Yeah.
See, that looks like a Jeep right there.
Oh, right there it says right here. So it will have a 6th order.
Okay. Can you pronounce what kind of joint that is?
Yeah, it's a double offset joint.
That one.
Well,
Okay.
Joe, actually, looking at your message about the cars not having the right gear ratio, you could probably calculate it if you have like a 1-to-1 ratio in the trans. Like if you're in 3rd or 4th gear.
In our Zeppa. Our Zeppa.
Yeah, like they have all kinds of stuff in here for like diagnosing like vibrations with brakes. There's a lot of information in this help file.
I could see having to do a lot of reading.
They have a lot of pictures in this help file.
I mean, it's sweet. It really is. But it's just like you got to understand, whoever designed and wrote this software, you got to understand where their head was at, you know?
See, they talk about diagnosing like pinion and ring gear problems. I finally had one that came in that failed, but the guy completely disintegrated the differential, so this was no help.
So will this actually, is this able to pinpoint whether or not it's in the pinion or the ring gear, or like a side bearing, or
I don't know if you'd be able to. Well, I guess when you're graphing the frequency, because it shows you the frequency. So if you know what the frequency is or how many teeth is on there, because like if you have 8 teeth on your pinion, you might be able to see that, like an 8th order vibration right there.
And then will this pick up? Do you plug this into the vehicle's data link connector as well?
Yes.
Okay. So
I
a lot of
just
the
got
newer vehicles will have a data PID for the gear ratio that they're currently in if it's an
I
automatic
just got
transmission.
this from AES Wave, this OBDLink MX to try
Okay.
to work with this. But before that, I was using my J-Box. Before that, I was using my CarDAQ M.
See, that's cool. That's cool right there, what they wrote in there. So since the pinion gear operates at the exact same speed as the prop shaft, they're going to have the same frequency. And then same thing with the ring gear and the tires.
Brian, it has a way that you can, I don't know about an actual math channel, but you can do calculations based off the, like say a T1. You can actually multiply the T1 to come up with a different vibration. I was doing it to try to find a bad wheel bearing based on the frequency. So I figured out the wheel bearing had like 16 balls in it, and I was doing the math. To calculate it based off the tire. So I took T1 times 16, and it was matching up pretty good.
Yeah, I can see where Brian's going with that. You could do it would be like a calibration weight, throw a weight on the tire or a weight on the drive shaft just to see if that vibration increases or decreases at the same range that you currently have a vibration. You may not be able to find what your exact ratio is without actually doing some math, but it would get you close.
You don't even need the OBD2 port either. You can do all this stuff after the fact. You can go out, do a drive, and just record your speeds, and then input them later.
So you just punch in what the engine speed was and what your road speed was?
Yeah, because I was messing with it with John Gillespie before I left Pittsburgh, and we did it in a 90, I want to say 91 or 94 Ford Ranger that was manual. And you can actually input the gear ratios and then manually select plus or minus for shifting. So I was telling the software that we shifted every time. But we had no RPM. Oh, and you can also pick up an RPM from an ignition coil, or like anything that you want to use as an input. I think you can use like an alternator, whatever.
How do you put that into it then?
You use the channel from the scope, and you just tell it you're sticking to an ignition coil.
Oh, so Pico's actually got it where I got you. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, because you're using a scope, so
it can
your limitation is you.
It can use that pickup and actually do the calculations.
Yeah, the only downside is, like I said in the beginning, you're limited to 4 channels with the NVH.
So the
even if you have
NVH
a scope, you can only use 4.
Yet.
Hang on, I'll move back over to the NVH software. Can you guys see that okay?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure this was the capture with that truck. I don't know why the speed's off, though. For some reason, it keeps trying to say that we were doing like 109 miles an hour.
Well,
but we should be able to see. Let me make sure this is there. We should be able to see the prop shaft vibration come up.
What's that? Oh.
So now the prop shaft's going to be the P's, right?
Yeah, the P1 and P2.
And the blue is what again?
The blue was our 1 channel. The red was our 2nd channel because I was using both sensors.
Okay.
But like right now, I can't even pause the software. It's now stuck on play.
Here, go ahead and boot me off the screen so you can go full screen with that. I'm going to grab a bite to eat. and
Okay.
I'll just watch you explain what's going on.
You can do the same thing for me too, Rob, if you want. I'm cool.
Here we go. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, it's pretty much like audio mixing. There we go. Let's see. Try to load this up again. Now, I will give you guys a warning. If you have multiple JBox software installed on your computer and you're going to use this, you don't want to open up the NVH using, like, you want to remove all the JBoxes except for one, because it'll ask you a million times every time you open it up for every single JBox installed. Let's see. Try this again. Let's see. Okay. Let's try this. Okay, so let's see if our orders work here. We should see a P. Maybe this ain't gonna work right because we're streaming. But yeah, let's see. Technical difficulties. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, there. Yeah, I know, but it's like frozen on my screen. I can't do anything. Yeah, once that was our vibration. What was it, between 60 and 70 miles an hour? I think I had the video saying. Like, I can't even close it. No, like Pico's freezing because I don't know if it's because I'm sharing it. Because it was working earlier. Yeah, well, I need to get it off my screen. I said I need to get it off my screen first. But Daryl, anything over 10 milligrams, you can feel in the car. Oh, another thing that I found out too is if you're trying to find a vibration in the car and you move the sensor to the trunk's going to show a lot more vibration than what you feel inside the car. The what? Oh, yes. Well, it was a pickup truck. So, yeah, it was a 2008 Chevy Silverado 2500 diesel. So it's definitely not going to, and I think they were like bigger tires than normal. Let's try this again. Michael left. Here we go. Screen share. I just won't click this stuff. Here we go. There we go. So if you, in the software, you can click and drag just like this and just zoom in on a section. So if we zoom in on this section, let's see, what was our issue with this car? Okay, this was with new U-joints. Let's find the old one. This should be our one with the vibration. So when you look at these, you can look at frequency right here, which graphs it like this. And then you can drag these bars down to see what the type of vibration is. And we can zoom in on this more. There you go. So this vibration that we had only happened when we were accelerating. And you can see right there, where was it? Right there. Look how high our P2 is. And you can even measure these just like you can with normal scope captures like this. Hold on, Paulie. Hold on, Paulie. I'll bring you up.
So P2 is the second sensor? Like, you had two sensors on there. P1 and P2. Obviously, P2 is really high.
Yes. No, this is all from one sensor. The blue is going to be one sensor.
Okay.
Yeah, blue is one sensor, and then red is the other sensor.
And where were these sensors at again exactly?
I think the blue one, hang on, I think I have it in here under details because I usually try to put it in here. Is it detailed? No, not details. It's vehicle information. Okay, here we go. So the first sensor, passenger seat inside of the seat rail. So this was at the back left of the front passenger seat. Right on the rail, like right where it bolts to the floor.
Okay.
And then the other one was the left rear seat, right where it attaches to the corner of the cab.
And that's P1 or what?
That would be, well, no, P1's going to be the drive shaft vibrating.
Okay.
It's just this first channel is the blue. There's two sensors. So I had the one, like I had two of these hooked up. Two of these were hooked up.
Okay.
X, Y, and Z on the blue, and then the other one was just X. You understand?
Yeah, I'm tracking. So you're picking up that driveline vibration in the cab.
Yeah, you do all this from the cab. Like literally, you just stick the magnet right to the seat rail, and you just Take it for a ride.
Wow.
The difference between this and the GM kit, as far as I know, the GM kit only uses a single axis sensor, so it only has one port. Where this one you can measure different ones. So if I go to, actually I can't show you on this one because I recorded this wrong. If you go under, I think it's setup. Yeah, setup right here. You see how it says XYZ? XYZ is using all three of these. You can change this to sum right here, where it'll combine them all. And I think that's what I did when I did this. I either did that or I accidentally selected, there's an option for a single axis accelerometer. And another thing, when you set these up, like under setup, down here at the bottom, it says signal history size, and it says 500 seconds right now. When you first hook this up, I think it's default to 50. But you go up to options and you select advanced options or enable advanced options, something like that. Because 500 seconds is 8 minutes. Now, so like you can see our frequencies here. Another cool one is 3D frequency, which I use all the time, because 3D frequency allows you to rotate this whole thing like this. And then if we select the bigger window, watch how nice this works. If we select the bigger window, now it's going to be a little slow because we're doing all this other stuff on here. But when you rotate this, now we'll be able to see our vibration start. Let's see. Rotate. Oh man, this is really not liking this live stream.
Is E4, that's engine then, huh?
Yeah, but you don't really feel it. It's a diesel, so.
Okay.
Yeah, you didn't really feel that in there. Anything above 10 milligravities you feel. So let's see if we can rotate this. At least one. So there you go. You can see in the middle where our P2 ramped up and then it ramps back down.
Oh.
Above our vibration right here when it happened, and then we came back down. Like we went up into it and then we went away from our vibration. And you'll actually see the same thing with the prop shafts. So you see the prop shaft right here? It goes up and then it comes back down. And then it goes back up again. There might be another spot in here too where we had our vibration. Anything down here at the bottom you see, you ignore because that's just like road noise and stuff, like bumps.
What you're looking for is those huge spikes.
Yeah, so like you can see like right here where we have this dip in our vibration, and you can see down here where we dip down below our vibration speed.
This would definitely take some getting used to.
But it's really cool once you start knowing how to use it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like I did a wheel bearing in a car. I knew the wheel bearing was bad, but being able to drive and turn the wheel, and then you see the vibration come and go, it's pretty nifty.
So when you have a wheel bearing vibration, was that showing up in your T?
Yes, I think it was.
And then is T1 through 4 like basically tire 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of thing?
Yeah, I'd have to go back to see what all was coming up underneath, but they were really bad. That was that one that I showed you that I had two bad ones. The one side wasn't that bad, but the other side was all rusty.
Is this it right here, T1, that spiked way up?
That's not a T1. That's below T1. See that?
Oh,
that's like a bump in the road or road noise.
Gotcha.
Oh, look at that. Brian's like, I'm getting an NVH. Brian, we didn't even get to the good stuff yet. Actually, I can show you guys what happened with this because I have the video. I don't know if any of you guys watched it, but I'll show you guys it if it loads. Okay.
You're gonna have to do another one of these, and you're gonna have to like like create a vibration, like do a known good, and keep it simple, like just something like a balance issue on a tire, just so like you can pick it up as dummies like me.
Yeah, but see, the problem with tire vibrations is every car that comes in here has a tire vibration.
No, I mean, I'm not saying like it doesn't have to necessarily be tires. I'm saying just like pick one like thing and like show us how you set the tool up, and then like create the problem. You know, show us good. Like here's good. After you set it up, and then create the problem and be like, all right, here's what bad looks like, and then we can analyze it and put 2 and 2 together. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Because like it's awesome. I just think it would be a lot better for, you know, like my brain is hurting just thinking, because I'm not hands-on right now. So like if you could show us that, that would be really pretty cool.
Joe, what's your question? Yes, Joe, you can show engine balance issues. There's a whole option in here where you can put in crankshaft pulley size, alternator pulley. You can do all the accessories on the car, and then find your vibration. Now, there is a video on YouTube that I watched of this guy that I guess he works at a college. It's either a college or a Votech. The kids rebuilt a motor, and it was knocking. And he used the Pico NVH to find out that the kids never tightened the torque converter bolts. So it had a E3 engine vibration. And there's also a video Pico did where a Volkswagen, the tensioner pulley for the timing belt on a Volkswagen failed. And the belt was riding on the bearing because they used a plastic pulley for the tensioner, and it exploded. And it was riding on the pulley, and it was causing a vibration, and the customer's complaint was an EGR code. Because the EGR is a calculated value, because it uses cam timing for EGR.
Someone was earning their pay that day.
I'm like, that was awesome when I saw that, but I don't think I'm ever going to get that far.
That is so beyond my level right now. I'm not going to lie.
But here, guys, hopefully that, can you guys see this video okay? If I start it, does it look okay?
Yeah, putting an incorrect balancer on an old vehicle. That's what Chad said.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure you could find that because I think it would show up as an E1 because it would be one vibration per engine rotation. I had a lot of people do that with GMs, with like Fieros, because they would put the 2.8 liter flywheel on for like all the other front wheel drive V8s, I mean V6s, the 2.8s, and all the other 2.8s were internally balanced and the Fieros externally balanced. So people would complain of vibrations. It was actually pretty interesting.
That's
what he I think the 3.8s did that too, didn't they, Foley? Weren't the 3.8s internally and externally balanced depending on gear?
On their balancers?
No, they're flywheel.
Shit, I don't know.
Okay, I thought the 3.8 were that way.
That'd be a better question for Joe. He probably knows. I have no idea, to be honest with you. Yep. He said yep.
I don't know if he was talking to them, though.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know who he was talking to.
I could see this being, like, for me, personally, like, if you have, like, a torque converter shudder or something like that, that's what I would see this as being really valuable.
Yeah, you know what sucks? Right before I got this, I went to a van that the guy paid me to do it mobily, and he had an engine knock, and he sent me a video, and I'm like, that doesn't sound like an engine knock, because the shop said he needed a new motor. It was a 6-liter. I'm like, that seems pretty odd that it's knocking. I'm like, what did they do to make it knock? And he said the oil pressure is good. I told him I didn't want to come out if it was an engine knock and waste his money, but he paid me to come out. I get out there. I'm like, that's not an engine knock. You put it in gear, and the knocking went away. I pulled down the cover underneath the trans, and the whole flex plate was cracked all the way around. I'm like, yeah, you need a flex plate.
Wow.
And then when I took it out, the torque converter was destroyed. They like mangled the end of the torque converter.
That's a good question that Chad had. What a torque converter clutch shutter be like labeled as?
I don't know.
So true, Joe. Yeah, I wonder how does that work for transmission vibration?
I haven't had a transmission vibration yet.
Well, we need to figure this out, because that would be a huge bonus if I had. I'm driving. I'll give you an example. Like, I'm driving like a Chevy Malibu, right? And I got this intermittent vibration at about 70 miles, anywhere from 60, I'd say 55 to 70. Feels like a tire vibration coming and going. It's not driveline. It's not tires. It's probably transmission. But like, how would I use the NVH to say, yup, torque converter, or I don't know, input bearing?
Well, the torque, actually, I know exactly how you'll find it. So if there's a PID for the torque converter clutch, you can put the PID in the software. Like, it allows you to pick all the OBD2 PIDs.
So you can because you're hooked to the DLC.
Yeah. So you can actually pick anything. You can pick mass airflow sensor if you wanted.
So hold on. So like, if I'm hooked to the DLC, which I'm not tracking how that exactly works, does that go into my Pico somehow?
No, you connect to your laptop through like Bluetooth or USB if you're using a J-Box.
So then, if I pick, like, let me ask you this. So like, can I take my turbine speed sensor signal or scan pin, my output speed signal? You know what I'm saying? Like, I can pick all that in there.
Yeah, I don't know how many you can pick. I just know you can pick PIDs.
Yeah.
It's like, now it's hard to hear you. You're cutting in and out again. It might be the app.
It probably is. If I could take my input speed sensor and my output speed sensor and my engine RPM and lay it out with like gear changes with that tool, that's all I'm saying.
You may want to relaunch the app or something, because like, you're kind of squeaky. See, another thing you guys can do too is you don't have to use the NVH software, so you can connect all this stuff right to your Pico, like just standard, and just go into the lab scope mode. So I want to show you guys something while Paulie's coming back. So this was, can you guys see this okay? So this was my test drive with John Gillespie when we did the Silverado that I have posted on YouTube with the vibration. You can see it at the top here. Hey, Paulie. Okay. But can you see the screen okay? want to start this video. I'll just start it anyway. So guys, when you watch this, you'll see prop shaft vibrations go up. Because this is when we had the issue with the U-joint. So Paula, you see that? Hey Paula, do you see that vibration? You see how our P1 and P2 keep going up? Hey Paula.
I don't even know if I can hear you. I can't.
You can't hear me? Hey Chad, can you hear me? Or Joe?
There we go.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Did you see the video fine?
Yeah. I'm just standing
Okay.
outside right now.
Did you see the vibrations though? Okay, so Francisco said they could. Like you could see when we were accelerating between 60 and 70 miles an hour that those vibrations just would increase way up on P1 and P2. Go back. So you can see them right there. And we are doing 60 miles an hour right there. And then if we go forward, we could see what the actual issue was. Let's see. Where's our issue? So here was our issue. Once YouTube loads. Come on. There we go. So we put a chalk line down the center of the drive shaft and clamped it onto both sides, and you could see our carrier bearing was no longer center. See that clamped on the end?
It's a good year in a truck like that too.
What'd you say? So guys, what we ended up doing on this was well, John ended up doing it. He ended up, I think, ovaling the holes out and then recentering the carrier bearing. Well, we put a new one on too. And then also, one of the U-joints was bad. So that was causing our P2 vibration. We had one cap that was bad. What's up, Justin? And this vehicle must have been like this from factory. Let's see. Oh, and also the carrier bearing rubber was all destroyed too. Well, I shouldn't say all destroyed. It's all cracking. Let's see. Why did this change? Oh, Paulie left. So this one cap right here. Actually, this was the good cap. The other side's the bad cap. So this one has all like liquid grease in it. The other side is all like plastified. Let's see, why did that change? Let's see. Why is it so? So here you go. We slotted the holes in this. And now you can see the drive shaft is perfectly straight. And we put a new U-joint only on the rear. Look at that. And now when we went for a test drive, we had no more P1 or P2 vibration. Oh, and also, if you guys didn't notice, every time the car shifts and it detects a shift, it puts the numbers in there. It also calls it out, which makes it really annoying. You'll hear it say 1, 2, 3 if you have your volume up. But you will see here, accelerating, you can see down here in the bottom where we accelerated. Here on the right-hand side, right where my head's at. But we have no vibrations on it. No P1 and no P2 at all, not even a hint. Yeah, Weber Auto does have a lot of information. But see, Calvin, I wanted to get this because nobody is showing videos on old cars. They're all like, or Weaver, I don't know if it's Weber or Weaver, but he does all like brand new stuff. Like they've never been driven on the road. They were just donated cars. And yeah, his videos are pretty good on the U-joints. He's actually one of the reasons why I almost never use aftermarket U-joints. But even the ones from Pico, like they seem to be done on really nice cars. I wanted to see like rusty cars that, or stuff people don't take care of. But look at that, there's no vibrations in that video. I didn't really show how to hook it up. I briefly covered it. I can show you guys then how to hook it up. I didn't think it would be really relevant because you're just connecting the sensor to the seat rail. Now there is another car here that I did a video on, the CTS right here. This thing, after I replaced the differential, it had a nasty vibration because you couldn't line up the dots on the drive shaft. I'll show you what happened to this differential. Let's see. Oops, it turned. This is really slow. Oh, is Joe leaving? Hi, Joe. Let's see if this will load. So is Chad back. I think you guys are going to love this differential. Look at this differential. Yeah, I can hear you, but they can't. Look at that, guys. Yeah, the guy said it just died on him. No vibrations. The car lot he bought it from put it like a he brought it before it died. I guess they didn't put any fluid in it because you don't even see any sludge. But look at the bearing. There's nothing left of the bearing. The bearing's flat. Couple laps right before it got good. Now, you would have never found this without the NVH. Yeah, I can send him one. So guys, when you put the differential in, there's supposed to be an orange dot on the flange for the drive shaft. And there's supposed to be an orange dot on the pinion, like right over here where my mouse is at on the left. This 3-bolt flange is supposed to have a dot on here. You're supposed to line them up. GM says if you don't line them up, you will have drive shaft failure. So when I took this for a drive, let's see. When I took this for a drive at like 45 hour, I had a vibration on the floor. And you will see it here. You will see, I think it's a P1 vibration that comes up. Let's see. What do you mean, Chad? Let's see. Where do I? Okay, here's where you're going to see the P1. The P1 just shoots up through the roof. Now, this car has 3 tires on with the same tread and 1 that's not, and I think that's our T1 vibration. See how that P1 just shoots up right there, 42 or so, 43? P1's at 26 milligravies. Now, 10 is what you feel inside the car. Anything above 10 is usually what you feel. So now, what I did to fix this is actually a pretty interesting fix. Let's see. Where's that? So here's where I analyze it. So we'll look at me analyzing it real quick, because I do it in the 3D frequency view. There we go. So you can see right there, we're at 41 miles an hour or so. You can see our P1 is just through the roof. And it's just our P1. Like you have that stuff all the way down the bottom, which is just like normal noise. See, I turned everything off but P1. Yeah, and bumps. Like you'll hit bumps. It could be other stuff. I don't know. Maybe the tread shows up there. You know, tread design. So now what I ended up doing was we put this up on the lift since we didn't have any alignment marks. So right here I should be on the lift, and what I did was I ran the car. I'll let this fly. I ran the car in the lift, and then I recorded the vibration running it on the lift as like a baseline right here. I get the car to go up to like 43 miles an hour, and then I try to hold it there. Let's see. Sorry, fast. So right here, I try to run it on the left, and then I record the vibration. And then what we do is, I have my dad unbolt the drive shaft and rotate it one turn, and then we bolt it back up, and we run it again on the lift, and then record the vibration, and then we unbolt it, rotate it again, and do all three spots, and then I pick the lowest spot. Let's do it. Where's this? Oh, this one was a little longer right here because I was trying to turn off traction control. So here you go. So you see our P1 coming up. This was the first test run. This was just to get a baseline. And some cars will have natural vibrations. Like you'll have an E1, E1.5, E4 based on the number of cylinders. But see that P1? That's just running it on the left. And here, second run on the left. This will be our second run. Yeah, well, like I said, you can balance the drive shaft right on the left with the optical pickup. Use hose clamps. You put 2 hose clamps on there and you keep running it, and then you space them apart. You can even do flange balancing where you balance the flange. See, here's the second run. So you see our P1 going up. And then I try to hold it there. Well, like Maserati, I think this is the OEM tool for Maserati. From when I talked to Pico, they use weighted nuts on the drive shaft to balance it. Because I was experimenting with it one day. Hold on, Paulie. Hold on, Paulie. I'll bring you in so they can hear you. So, are you under somebody else's name? Oh, there you are.
No, what I was gonna say is you should take.
Hold on, are you in?
Chad's in.
Yeah, I'm in. I can hear you guys.
You gotta get Justin in here.
Hold on, we'll get Justin in. Let's just finish these videos because then I can make them full screen like that.
What I was saying is take a CV axle.
Oh, I guess I put Jet in there.
Take a CV axle, put a bunch of weight on the axle, look at it, and then take it off and look at it. So we can track what you're doing.
Oh, I'm way ahead of you.
I know that.
So here's something. After I did these 3 tests, I compared them. So here's where I compare them. Let's see. So this is our P1 that I have selected right here. So you can see the first run we were at, what was it, 12.3 milligravity on the lift. When you're on the lift, you don't have as much vibration as when you're driving. I'm assuming because nothing's loaded.
And your pinion angle is different.
Yeah. Well, this is no, it's not going to be changed. Cadillac.
Cadillac has an independent
gotcha.
suspension.
So right here, you can see the second run was at 8.2, and here is our third run of 15. So I just picked the lowest of them because I'm like, well, that has to be balanced or close to balance. And then after that, I take it for a test drive. Let's see, where's the test drive? There we go. Confirming the fix.
Science.
It is science. It's actually pretty awesome science.
Ridiculous. How crazy. Like some guy or gal, probably a guy or a gal, maybe both, sat and thought this up.
So watch this when I start accelerating. You can see I'm at 11. Remember, our vibration was at 43 miles an hour.
You're still on hoist?
No, I'm driving down the road. Look at this.
Oh.
There's like almost nothing. I think we hit like 13 or something as our max. You don't even feel it in the car.
And all
We
you
had
did
what? It was like 20.
all you did was rotate it on the flange?
Yeah. Like it wasn't perfect, but you didn't feel it in the car at all. Actually, I don't remember. This might have been in the truck when I did this one. I think I moved it to the inside. One of these I think I did in the trunk is the vibration, and then when I moved to the inside of the car.
Uh-oh. Did we just lose the main guy?
I think we did. I guess it's our live stream now.
It's our live stream. We hijacked this shit.
But wait, I don't have any controls to get rid of his. Oh, no, he came back in.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Did it come out?
Yeah, he disappeared.
Yeah, it's like it said reconnect. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
Technology.
We had a real quick party.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Well, you don't want to know what happened when you were young.
Okay.
Yeah, your YouTube channel's probably going to get shut down, though.
It just got
Why is it not sharing?
Everyone's going to have to forgive Rob because he's new to this. It's very sensitive.
I am.
So you could technically, pull a driveline bolt out, add a washer in there, and try to correct a issue that you have with the driveline vibration, rather than sending out the driveline to be rebalanced.
I didn't hear the first part of that.
You could add washers to the driveline mounting bolts to correct
You
a
can for
vibration
certain
rate?
manufacturers. I would tell you this: the Pico does it in grams. And when I tried to do it, because I experimented on that truck, that 2008 Silverado, because I wanted to see if we could counteract the vibration that we had, and it wanted me to put on 4.5 gram weights.
Mm.
And I'm like, okay, we were cutting sticky weights in half, and it didn't work out.
So you got to use lead washers.
Well, you can use hose clamps. Were you here for that part?
Yeah, but if it goes to another shop after you worked on it and they see hose clamps on the driveline,
Put a sticker on it say "Do not touch."
they might talk bad about you.
I had some that came in already. I had some that came in the shop that said "Do not remove." They had like a tape on them.
Oh, this
Like,
is
I'm
from
pretty-
that Rob guy. Look at all these hose clamps on this driveline. Fucking hack.
There's like 75 hose clamps on there.
Yes.
No, I mean, I definitely see the hose clamps as a way of determining how far out it is. But if you knew what the weight,
You
if
can
you knew
keep
what the
talking.
weight of the hose clamp is, or at least the screw section, because that's what's going to counteract the weight. If you knew what the weight of that was, and you said, okay, I need 2 of these hose clamps on here to counteract this imbalance, then you could, grab a metal washer off the shelf, or a specifically designed drive shaft weight, and weld it to the drive shaft. If it's aluminum, you're going to have a little more issues, but I think that would be a little more permanent of a fix rather than leaving the hose clamps on there.
You can, but like when it balances it though, it uses the hose clamps. Like you put them on one spot, and then it tells you to put them at different degrees. You're supposed to mark the drive shafts with degrees, and then you move them apart from each other. It's only 2 you use. You don't use more than 2.
Couldn't a guy just weld a weight on to the drive shaft like they do at the driveline shop?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You
Use the hose
could, but
clamp.
I don't think the Pico. I'm pretty sure the Pico only uses hose clamps, so you would have to figure out how to put that weight.
Well,
Because you're really putting 2 hose clamps and you're spacing them apart.
right, because you're using the hose clamps as weights, but like Chad was saying, go ahead, Chad.
If you knew what the weight of the worm drive portion of that hose clamp was, because the small strap going all the way around
Right.
is going to have a 0 effect on the balance.
But how
So
would
if
you
knew
attach the weight then unless you weld it?
You would weld it.
You just put a tack weld on.
Yeah, that's all they do at the driveline shop. And if initially you just put a really small tack weld, you make sure that the vibration's gone, and if it is, you heat it up a little more and make sure it sticks.
You're done.
I've also seen vehicles come in the shop where they have a weight on there and it's coated in, like they brushed on epoxy to make sure that it stayed in place. I don't know if that's because they didn't want corrosion underneath it, or that's how they attached the weight.
Maybe it was all rusty and they're like, oh, we'll put epoxy over this and it ain't coming off.
I could see this.
Because-
I could see this. I could see this being huge in the driveline shop.
That's why I got it. That was another reason was for drive shaft balancing.
Yeah.
Every time I do U-joints, it's been in balance now. Oh, another thing that I learned, John Gillespie told me this. So he said, do you know why every time you replace a plastic U-joint, like one that's held in by plastic on like a DM, you get a vibration?
Are you
No,
putting?
I don't know.
I guess that depends on how you're installing the U-joint. You got to be careful when
Yeah, well, he told me when they make them, they balance them after they put the U-joint in, so the U-joint isn't always centered.
Yeah, well, you got to give her the old whack with the hammer.
No, the one that's held in by plastic isn't always centered.
Probably not. That's why they have to balance it with the weights.
Yeah, so then
So
if you put in one that's not at the same spot, you're gonna have an imbalance.
Yeah, it almost makes the guy wonder how many did I send down the road vibrate.
You thought it was normal truck fueling.
It's fixed, guys. Driveline guy gets it. Kind of hack.
It's better than when it came in, because when it came in, it was binding the whole time because there was no U-joints left. It was just end caps.
Right. Well, and
Or no end caps.
let's just be honest. Like, it's kind of like the whole thing of like, you know, a customer comes in, they're complaining because the car runs like crap, right? And you do, let's say, a new coil on it because it was missing on one cylinder, and they think the car is driving great, even though you, as a technician, are like, this thing is horrible. You know, that little bit of an improvement.
Yeah.
Okay, so Justin Dow gave you a super chat, and he's asking, will you please describe what all you need in order to use this way of diagnosing NVH concerns? So what equipment do you need? What software do you need?
Your brain.
Rob.
Your brain.
Let's see. Let me get rid of this.
For the latecomers into the stream, you're using the Picoscope NVH kit, right?
Yes.
You might have to go.
I'm gonna bring up my camera.
You might have to go back over it again, Rob.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it back.
Because you got a bunch of new people in here, I bet.
Let's see. There we go. There you go. Can you guys see the bottom corner okay?
Yep.
So you will need the Nvh Diagnostic Kit. You can get the standard, or I think they have a basic kit which comes with one sensor, so it'll have one accelerometer in here. That's really all you need to get started. And then it comes with the 3-channel accelerometers. This one comes with 2 because it's a standard kit. And you get 2 microphones. So you get this that screws on if you want to pick up sounds. And then you either need like an OBDLink adapter for the OBD2 port if you want to get scan data, which I suggest. Or you need some kind of pass-through. It'll work with all the generic pass-throughs. I heard there's some issues with some of the Ford ones, but I think Pico has a workaround that they can help you with independently. And then you need a Pico. And that's pretty much it. Like one of them down there that I can't grab and bring up here.
And it's $1,000, right?
Yeah. Yeah, or $600 if you just get one sensor.
How many channels do you need on the Picoscope? Can you use this with a 2-channel scope? Or do you have to have the 4-channel?
Ask Pico that.
That's a good question.
I think it works with any 4000 series.
Because a lot of the dealer level Picoscopes are only a 2-channel, especially like the Toyota scopes.
Well, actually, if they all are 2-channel, then yes, it can work with a 2-channel because the dealer only has one accelerometer. It doesn't have the 3.
I got a question. If you had an 8-channel scope, you should be able to use it too, but you're limited to 4 channels, right?
Yes. For now.
Yeah, for now. The Germans.
Now, you guys were asking about data pits before?
That's so those accelerometer sensors. Those accelerometer sensors are similar to a multi-axis acceleration sensor.
That's what it is.
Now, does Pico have a specific software for attaching this to the engine for diagnosing misfire concerns?
No, it'll show up as your. Well, it depends on the engine size. So you're going to either get like an E1 vibration because it would do 1 vibration for engine rotation, or I think if it's an 8-cylinder, I think you get a 0.5. I think that's what it is. 0.5.
And Justin, no, this won't work with the Snap-on scan tool. It uses specific software that is run through the Picoscope to analyze the accelerometers, and then it gives you a frequency graph of where your vibrations are at.
However, You could use, if you were smart enough, probably an accelerometer and pick something up.
You could definitely use these with a Snap-on. You just won't have any software to do anything.
Right.
Yeah, I think the software is the biggest part because it's analyzing the data and it's telling you engine vibration, tire vibration, drive line,
Bring up
or
that
prop shaft.
Bring up that setup screen again, Rob. Show them how you set it up, like, and enter all your ratios in so they know.
Good idea.
So they understand like where it's getting all that info from.
Let's see.
That's built into the Pico software.
Yeah. Now, what would be cool is if you can hook it up to an engine and then hook it up to a ignition reference to sync it up.
You can.
And if it can determine the vibration of the engine to where it knows which cylinder is misfiring, you punch in your firing order, and based off of that vibration and the input of data that you put in, if it knew which cylinder was misfiring, it'd be kind of nice for those vehicles that are kind of difficult to find.
Oh, there we go.
Rob was doing something with his.
Yeah, I was getting ready to experiment using the optical pickup and just making a whole bunch of marks on the crankshaft with which cylinders at top dead center and trying to use it to pick up like a misfire on a car that doesn't have a computer.
Instead of the optical pickup, could you tie into a crankshaft trigger or a camshaft trigger and to make it think that it's an optical pickup, or does it have to be the optical pickup?
I don't know. I haven't messed with what it outputs.
Okay.
But the trigger will work off of anything. I even waved my hand in front of it and it worked.
Okay.
So like you can have like just a paint mark, they told me, or you can use like an actual physical pickup. Because they've used it to point at like fans. Like Pico has a vibration video where they used they pointed that right at the fan and got the frequency of the fan. That it's spinning at like the RPM. Oh, another thing is with the Pico, like you can see like right here in the corner, we can change this from like a frequency to RPM instead of that, whatever's easier for you. And you can also change how far, like how far the frequency scale. So right now it's at 200 hertz. We can change it to 400. Like it recorded up to 400 hertz while we were doing our drive. So like, see that? Now we're at 400. Well, it's not at 350 for some reason. But
and that top end stuff is just all road noise?
I don't know what the top end noise is. I was trying to figure that out. I was asking Pico, but they haven't got back to me.
You talking about on the far right there, Chad?
Yeah. I seen that on another car, and I thought it was this wheel bearing noise because when I was calculating T1 and multiplied it by 16, I was getting the noise all the way up there in the end. But Pico hasn't responded back to me on what that is up there.
And it could just be high-end harmonics based off of your lower frequencies.
Yeah. Also, Pico told me if you connect the microphone in or tell it has a microphone, it makes this range go way higher.
Okay, so what's your normal frequency range that you have right now? Up to 400?
Well, I put it to 400. It's not to 350 for some reason.
Okay, and that's just 350 hertz?
Yeah.
Because most microphones are 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz frequency response. So that's probably why they have such a high range when using the microphone.
Yeah.
I definitely think setup is going to be key in understanding this thing because.
But you also got to worry about where you're putting your stuff too, because like I said, when you put it in the trunk, it's a whole lot noisier, and I didn't think it was going to be that much noisier. Like everything was like double.
Well, that's all the booze bottles rolling around in the trunk.
There really wasn't much in the trunk but a spare tire sitting on top of the rubber mat and a tire iron.
And then Justin's asking, Rob, can you please do a video covering the total cost of adapters, or total cost plus adapters, and then share the links in the description? So how much is that Pico? Is that the NVH Deluxe Kit that you have?
Standard.
The standard? What does the Deluxe Kit have that the standard doesn't?
I don't think they have a Deluxe Kit, do they?
Okay. I most of their kits, they have a Deluxe version.
No, they have, I think they have an Advanced Kit or something, which comes with like 4 sensors or something like that. It wasn't needed for what I want to do.
And you've only got 2.
Yeah, like you're going way higher if you're going to the Advanced Kit.
Okay.
And then they have an Enhanced Kit, which comes with, I think the Enhanced Kit comes with the Mongoose and the Optical Pickup or something like that. Because they have a Mongoose adapter. Hang on, I'll bring it right up on Pico's website right now and find out.
This technology is obviously still in the making, so I'm sure they're going to do some massive improvements to it.
But it's been around for a while.
Well, yeah, I remember you
buying one 5 or 6 years ago, and they weren't really new then. I just, it's hard to justify buying one because I don't do a lot of vibration issues.
Right.
Well, see, you don't do a lot of vibration issues till you get one. So the kit that I have is $1,059. The starter kit is $570, which that's what I told everybody to get. They have an essentials kit. So if you get the, well, actually the essential kit comes with a Picoscope. So I'm assuming most people probably have one. It says right here, to go from the starter kit to standard kit, it's $517.
I mean, a lot of guys don't have the Picoscope because most of the industry uses a snap-on scope.
Yeah.
If they're using a scope at all, because that's what's attached to the back of the scanner that the shop owns. So if they are going to use a scope,
Snap-on's going to retaliate with this.
Okay, here, the advanced kit, which comes with 4 sensors and 4 microphones, is $2,000. If you want the essential kit, so the essential kit with the Picoscope and it comes with the standard kit is $2,309. And they have a essential advanced kit with the optical pickup. So that's everything that you can possibly use. Is $3,700.
And Rob says he has no money.
What are you talking about? I bought the standard kit.
I bought this so I could play with it.
I bought it,
and
I've used it.
I'm just messing with you.
Think of how much time that saved me on that drive shaft for that Cadillac. Who would have thought right after I got it that I would have got a drive shaft that with no markings?
Well, you should have just snapped a chalk line. You would have been done right there.
That doesn't help me balance it.
I can say this after the fact, Rob. Don't you know? I'm going on your YouTube channel. I'm making the comment. I'm going to be that.
Are you downvoting it too?
I'm going to put so many thumbs down. Hey, are you going to get Justin in here? He came.
Yeah. If he wants to. Does he want to come in?
Yeah, he wants to come in. He was asking like hours ago. He's probably sitting there, and he's giving you money. I haven't donated $1 because I know you're rich. So
I thought I gave him the link.
I don't know. Did you?
Oh, wait, no, I didn't. I sent that to Chad.
Ah, see? He's mad at you right now. You're going to have to really butter up to him.
There's a lot going on today.
Yeah, you're popular tonight.
Yeah. So, Paulie came more prepared than I did.
I didn't come. Okay. Hold on.
And I agree with you there, Justin. Most vibration issues can be found with a road test or physically moving things, whether by hand or by a hammer. But this is very interesting to me, like the science behind it. I do like the noise vibration harshness science, and I think that it would be helpful, especially for concerns where you're not quite sure, like, is that a driveline vibration, or do I have a tire vibration at this specific speed? From my experience, I think that most tires have a vibration between 40 and 45. Once you're beyond that speed, they go away. And then again, maybe around the 70 mile per hour range. Whereas a driveline vibration is a lot more consistent, or it's on acceleration, deceleration from my experience.
You might be asking
Yeah, but
yourself.
this tool proves exactly what it is, and you can see if you have more than one tire. Because I said earlier, if you see a T1 and then you see a T2 and then it goes back to T1, you have 2 tires that aren't balanced. If it goes up to T3, you usually have 3 tires. So you can actually tell how many tires you have.
If it switches back and forth like that when you're going down a straight road, then you also know that you have 2 tires that are different sizes. If they're going in and out of phase with each other.
Yeah, but you also have a road that isn't perfect, so they're never going to spin at the same speed.
And then if you had multiple sensors, one in the front of the vehicle, one in the back, could you then identify whether that tire was in the front or the rear?
Yeah, if you have 4 tires, you'd be able to know what tires were in balance.
Yeah.
Pico also has one where they put like 4 sensors on a control arm to find out what joint was bad.
What are we looking at?
What are you showing us?
What are we looking at?
Oh, I can't answer that.
I can't see. Is your flash on?
So
I can't see what it's showing.
I had a
explain it to us.
I had a 16 Dodge Journey in with a bad battery. Okay. No codes, just a shit crap battery. So this is my AC ripple. The green is the AC ripple at the alternator. The yellow is the AC ripple at the battery. And the red is my amp clamp, which is pulling 24 amp, 2.4 volts, 20 amp setting, right? So I'm pulling 24 amps steady. And this is loaded before the new battery. Okay? That's the ripple. Green is the ripple at the alternator. And you can see how much, obviously, the battery, even being crap, insulates it. But the swing on that ripple is, 75 millivolts, negative 160-ish. That's loaded, ripple, before the new battery. Let me show you what loaded with the new battery looks like. Say what? It's noisier.
Why'd you put a cheap battery in it?
It's a Napa Legend, man. Actually, what's kind of cool is I've been playing around with the scan data captures on the Zeus because I haven't done this very much, like where you actually save your scan reel.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look here, I know it's hard to see, but this right here is before the new battery, okay? And up here is my generator duty cycle, okay? Up in the corner here. So unloaded, you can see right here, this is my duty cycle unloaded. And then if it steps up is loaded, right? Up to 100%. I want to show you the difference.
Whoops.
Oh, thanks, Rob.
Hold on, I was trying to pick you solo.
So here's the difference. I'll let you look. This is the Journey generator duty cycle. Whoops. Did I just change something? Yes, I did. Hold on. There we go. So generator duty cycle. Now let me switch over to the new battery. See the consistency? Starting off unloaded. I load it. Nice and consistent, right? I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool. It's nothing.
Hey, Henry, can you hear me?
But just to show you how noisy ripple is on a Jeep, Loaded new battery. That's a loaded alternator ripple. Green is at the alternator. Yellow is at the battery. That is good. Anyways, you don't have to keep mine up. I'm just nerding out.
Awesome. I didn't know I could do solo on here and show you guys stuff. So I wanted to show you guys this. So this is that optical pickup. So I have it connected here. Like, it ain't going anywhere. Like, I'll probably pick up this whole cart before I pick up this thing. But there's so much adjustment on here. It is made very well. Like, you can point this like any direction you want. And then what's cool about the tip of this thing, so when you have the sensor on here, you see this little knob right here? So you can turn this knob and watch what this does. It fine tunes the end of it. You see it slowly moving? Like, it's crazy. Like, they severely over-engineered this whole thing.
It's like a dial indicator.
It's pretty much like a dial indicator based with like fine tuning. Like, all this stuff you can tighten up. Like, you turn these and they tighten up. And then that's how the optical sensor picks up. Oh, I mean mounts up. Just to let you know, Justin's in here. I don't know if he's talking, or he was.
No, I'm just checking it out.
What's up, John?
And this light back here lights up when you break the. Actually, we can plug it in and show you
What
guys.
up, Nate? What up, Chad?
So this thing uses a headphone jack, and when you connect it, like all their stuff, as soon as you plug it in, it starts working. So then as soon as we break this, it should, yeah, you see the light up?
That's
Actually, I think,
cool.
yeah, you guys should be able to see.
Yeah, we can see
And
it.
you can see it's a red light. Oh yeah, you can kind of see it.
So it's just using like an infrared light and receiver.
Yeah, but like I said, it responds to everything, so it's pretty cool. I think they said it works up to 3,000 RPMs.
Rob, I just thought of something. What if a guy were to remove the inspection shield for the torque converter and use that? Bueller?
It would be the same as putting it on the balancer.
Yeah. But I mean, like,
You
I don't know.
mean to get RPM?
I don't know if that would make any difference. Well, actually, I probably wouldn't.
Now wait, here's the
Just
thing
ignore
though.
everything
If you
I
said it
just
works
said.
up to 3,000 RPMs, there has to be a radius. If you put it on the flywheel, you're gonna probably be able to get a higher RPM because you have a greater distance. This stuff has to travel because you just supersized it. You know, because there's a limitation to how fast that sensor can pick up. So if you put it on a 1-inch thing spinning at 3,000 RPMs, it's gonna have less of an area.
Gotcha.
You'd be better off with the scope at that point. If you're trying to test the Hall effect sensor, you'd be better off with a scope, in my opinion, than
Yeah, but he's talking about using the optical pickup.
what he's saying that the NVH is.
I see the value in this for like transmission related vibrations. Totally. I just don't know how exactly the guy goes about doing that.
I could see the value behind this when it comes to suspension and driveline, because there's certain shops that specifically just do axles and driveline. I could see the value in this particular tool for those shops, for independent shops and dealerships. I don't know how invaluable it would be, because more times than not, they just want the quick answer. This does not seem like a quick answer. This seems like something that someone threw parts at so many times, could not figure it out, and had to take it to somebody that actually knew how to get in a little bit deeper. And this is that deeper tool.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
kind of like having a guy with a regular scan tool and a scope, but doesn't exactly know how to use them both in conjunction, and then having a guy that knows how to use them both in conjunction to figure out a problem, that knows the intermittent areas to look for specific things.
Yeah, I mean, a dealership, if they're having a driveline vibration, they're not going to put U-joints in it. They're going to sell a $1,200 drive shaft and be done with it.
Yep.
Yep.
And hope that the problem is solved, which normally that's the case. The drive shaft, especially like on a Dodge, you know, those shafts twist a little bit, and then no matter what you do, they're always going to vibrate. You take them to a balancing shop and they balance it, and you put it on there and it's good for a couple of weeks, and then it's out of balance again. The solution is to put a new drive line on, and that's what the dealership's going to do 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, you hear it coming from the rear end. They want you to strip it apart and re-gear it and then put it back together. The noise is still there, then they try to go a different location, maybe the drive shaft, like you said, or a bearing. They'll start with the cheapest thing, move their way towards the expensive thing, and all along the way they'll say, well, this took out this in order to cover their butt, because they don't have factorial proof that proved that that was the exact result. It was a symptom of something else that was also occurring, right?
Yeah. They're gonna go with what's. It's kind of like the same thing when you're diagnosing a bad module. Like, the dealer don't care if there's a bad part piece or a wire issue going to a module. They're just gonna call the module, sell the job, even if it don't need a module, and then fix the wire later.
Well, I got an interesting one.
48 grand.
Oh, not NVH related. It's interesting you brought up the module though. We are on our 3rd PCM now on a Crown Vic.
That's how much they had to put in there.
On a Crown Vic. And they
tape.
believe it's because it's not taking the software that it's in the computer, so they've tried changing it out numerous times now, thinking it's just a bad PCM.
Alcohol and soda. Good.
But the Altel, for whatever reason that we have connected with the J-Box and everything, is not allowing it to take that flash. So I don't know what's wrong with it. It's not my call. It's not my thing. But yeah, it was interesting to say the least. I'm sitting here going, I bet it's something that could have been resolved. Now, this car we've had for well over a year and a half. The guy has no immediate desire to have it back until it's fixed right. Just can't seem to fix it right. And I'm just like, man, we would just stop throwing PCMs at it and maybe dig a little deeper. I don't know, because I'm not that guy, right? I'm the donkey. Donkey, get back to work.
Where's your face, Justin? Rob just put up a graveyard.
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's to enable his camera, that's why.
Enable your camera.
It's enabled.
No, you didn't.
Real quick, Justin, I know you had some videos on your 7.3 basket case that you were building. Did you ever finish that project?
Yeah, I did a conclusion,
Like a boss.
I think, to it, to where we fired it up the following video. I always try to do things in succession, so if I bring up a certain basket case job that I have, see, this is the part that everyone misses. I don't always title the videos the exact same way that they flow, but I always try to keep things pretty sequential, I guess, or in order. So the one that follows it or the one after that, you'll see it firing up and everyone's like, and then it's gone. But yeah, eventually I got the whole thing all done, so that was kind of an exciting day.
I called it. I said the first time you start that thing up, she's going to make a champ.
But I shoot, I turn it into a video, and then I delete everything off my phone and then move on with the next day to have space. So as things are being finished or that I think that are pretty cool, I'll just film along the day, turn it into a discussion. Maybe it's a different topic, but you'll see it throughout the video and the following videos. So I always keep it going.
You're honest, Justin. We like you.
Yeah. Honestly, I also get worn out, though. I was almost at the pit's end today. He's like, hey, I got this little Hyundai. And I was like, yeah. And I'm already working on a Nightmare Volkswagen. It's like a 73 or something. It's a little VW van where 3/4 of the harness is chewed apart. And I'm laying down, breathing in plastic as I'm melting and soldering things back together. He goes, I got a job for you. And I'm like, great. He's like, wait till you get a stopping point. I'm like, I just cut half the harness. Stopping point? So I just started really quickly going through as fast as I could. And I'm like, what's up? He's like, I got a clutch job. And I go, what the hell is wrong with you, man? I got heads off a Jeep, heads off the Mustang. I got a fuel pump on the Volkswagen. You got me on another Volkswagen I'm repairing the harness to. And now you want me to do a clutch job. I said, I'm out of magnetic trays again. You got me down in a position again. I have over 30 magnetic trays. You can't find somebody else. Well, if you don't want to do it, I'll give it to somebody else. There is nobody else. I have 4 bays out of an 8-bay shop to myself.
He just
because
did
I
you
have
a
all these
solid. He did you a solid. You can make another Harbor Freight run and get more magnet trays, damn it.
And what I'm concerned about is you said 3/4 of the harness is chewed up. Well, there's only like 10 wires on that, so how long could it really take to fix?
This is in the bus. This guy has an actual PCM with 4 connectors, and the harness is like that big around. And then he has other wires that splay off that go to things that, you know, those people that turn these buses into homes and then put, you know, swamp cooler on top, and they got their microwave hanging out of some cardboard box, and they route everything. Yeah. And then the rodents ate all of it. So literally the harness is like that big, plus a whole bunch of little spaghetti noodles off to the side. And I'm trying to match things like, is it running yet? And I'm like, no. And I don't even know if they're like, well, we booked it for 10 hours, but it shouldn't take you 10. I'm like, did you see how much rodent damage there was? And in the real world of, like, if we're looking at the dealership life, we charge 1.5 times the amount. So if the labor rate's 115, they'll charge 160, and it is flat time, or it is straight time. So we're charging I said, I can go have a cigarette, eat lunch, come back, work on it, have a cigarette, talk on the phone, come back. I said, however long I want to take is how long it's going to take. So obviously I'm not going to do that. I'm in there working on it, and I'm like, this is definitely a lengthy project. But he's like, well, you picked it. And I said, well, I asked what was wrong with it. You said a couple of wires were chewed. And I was like, sweet gravy. And I got in there, and the whole harness is ripped apart. He's like, well, you still picked it. So
now, was the customer living in the bus?
Yeah, most of our customers that have vans or buses live in them because they're all hipsters. They go to the national park. They save money by not having an apartment, and they just live out of their van down by the dry lake bed, not the river. There is no river out here.
So do you have to push it out like on the street every night so they can live in it?
No, it sat out back for a month before we finally pushed it in. They're like, do you want to get rolling on it? And I was like, I'll get rolling on it.
And they were living in it then?
No, they ended up getting a hotel, and I guess they're staying with friends now, and they're just couch surfing, jumping from one van to the next. It's nuts. It's nuts.
Are you getting hooked up, Rob?
Am I getting hooked up?
Yeah, it looked like you were hooking
man.
something up.
If you want me to hook something up.
I told my Matco rep yesterday, because yesterday was Matco Wednesday. I said, frustrations are growing in the shop. I said, in 3 years time frame, I'm gonna rent or buy my own shop.
You got to do
3
it.
years.
You got to do it, Justin. You're not looking where you're
I'm
at.
tired of it. I'm like, look, I'm not learning anything. It's time for me to get ready to go. So
I just found something really cool.
Putting them to the side.
You're too smart, man. You're too smart. You don't.
I'm gonna
you
do
don't
like Rob. I'm gonna call Rob and Nathan and Chad. Like, yo, what's going on? Here's what I got. And just start sending pictures and get it done.
You're too smart, Justin.
So everyone in here has a.
I just found something really cool.
Go ahead.
Say again, Chad.
I will let Rob show us what he has.
Look at this. So if you loosen this knob, I didn't notice. Everything's all like flimsy and limp. See that? You tighten the knob, everything tightens up at one
So many
time.
jokes.
Look at that.
This is why I can't get off.
Is this a that's what she said moment?
This is
What
why I
else would
can't
you call that? I thought about it before I even said it.
He
They
says
call
stuff
it like a
flimsy and
magic
limp.
arm or a friction arm.
But isn't that awesome though? I've never seen one that did that.
Yeah, I have one of my cameras is hooked up to that right now.
Oh, it actually are all the joints come loose like that?
Yeah, it's a lot smaller setup than that. It doesn't have. It's a lot harder to get maneuvered and tightened up. But the one knob in the center tightens up all the joints.
Oh, that's awesome. They should probably tell you that in the instructions that I didn't read.
You remember a long time ago, though, when we were kids, they had them little magnetic stickmen, and if you push the button, they all got all like that. That's like the same concept, I think.
I can't see you. Your camera's not active.
I know he keeps saying that.
Dude, I swear it's on.
Why don't you back out real quick and then come back in?
I don't think people realize that Rob didn't show his hands the whole time in this.
You don't know how much I was debating that.
Okay,
Like-
I saw your camera for a second. Now it's all black.
This is
Justin.
the first time you're going to see Rob's face.
No, actually, you saw it in one of the other videos.
How about now?
Oh, there's Justin.
Now we can see you.
Look at that.
I swear I was here the whole time. I swear.
He's there.
No, because you kept saying like the wire was like this big, and we have no idea how big it is.
Like that.
I was
Like
going to
that.
say something too.
My
So
bad.
Everyone in here has Snap-on Zeus, correct?
I do.
Yes. Yes, Chad.
I just got, and Nathan, I don't know if you have one of these or not. Let me switch my camera here. I just got this long power cord from Daryl Coffrin. So it has the plug-in for the Zeus, and I don't know, it might be like a 20-foot cord, so I can hook it up to the battery and keep my unit plugged in. And then he also makes the other end of it, so I can also use it as a set of scope lead extensions.
Nice.
You know what I use? I bought one of those 20 amp cigarette lighters that connect to a battery that has the long clamps of 20 foot long, and then I just use a cigarette lighter.
For your Zeus?
Yeah.
You got to send me that.
Actually, I sent a couple to people.
Justin's got a dock. Justin bought the dock.
I
have a dock too.
Oh, you guys are balling.
$400 piece of plastic with no cable.
I got mine off Craigslist.
Yeah, I have a dock.
People out here on Craigslist don't have that. They're still selling single beds from 10 years ago.
Well, this one came from like Ohio or something. I was on Craigslist. I searched all of North America.
I believe it because everybody in Ohio is a mechanic.
Everyone's a mechanic.
The guy was like $200, brand new in the box. I'm like, are you serious? He's like, yeah. I'm like, do you take PayPal? I'm like, will you ship it? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, I'll send you a label.
But I'm telling you, everyone in Ohio is a mechanic, and I would say half of those mechanics are YouTubers. No joke. I still have no idea how that's possible, but every time I click on a video and I watch a person long enough, they're like, "Oh, I'm from Ohio," and I'm like, "Great."
Don't get it started, Justin.
I think I know 3 people in California. I'm like, we're the biggest state in the country next to Texas. There's 3 YouTube mechanics on here.
You got Drew.
Oh, you guys want to see something? You guys should get this.
What's that?
Dual monitors on my laptop.
What the
I
hell?
got a 5-inch. That works for me in the morning.
And don't they make that folds out both sides, Rob? It seems like I've seen one.
I have one coming.
It's like a panoramic laptop.
This is the older one, but yeah, this one just slides in. You can flip it upside down. It holds on by magnets. I can't do it one-handed though.
Oh, so
come on, Paul.
I got something for me. I got something for you guys. So the add to the GM14 diabolical nonsense, Rob. I'm going to tell you this right now. You start them damn cars up,
maybe you guys know this already, but the downstream oxygen sensor on a 1.4 GM, the turbocharge, right, will stay pegged at 1107 in closed loop for a long time until you start driving that car. I called a bad downstream oxygen sensor on mine today. I don't feel bad about it because I didn't know. But that cat has to come up to temp. I don't know how they're determining that, but that oxygen sensor will stay just flatlined at 1107. At 1107 millivolts on your scan data. As soon as you get up to like, I don't know, 30, 40 miles an hour cruising, all of a sudden she comes to life and she drops right down to 650.
You sure? Did the new one do the same thing?
Yes, sir.
So when you say 1107, is that like 1.107?
1.107.
Oh, you know why? Is it because it wasn't warmed up?
Yes.
Because they don't turn the heater on. They don't turn the heater on.
I know this. No. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They run it at 11%. They run it 11% at idle. But you have to drive it in order for that thing to come to life. I don't know why.
Yeah, well, I don't think they're really turning the heater on, though. They're just doing a check. Like, once you start driving and it meets the criteria, then they turn it on full.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Because I suppose they're not even going to check the catalyst efficiency until you're driving it anyways and get that catalyst.
Yeah, well, I had
so
I think I had, was it
keeping the
Dodge or somebody doesn't turn the
at
heater
like
on.
100% heating capacity, especially on these new vehicles where they're trying to push the miles per gallon. They're probably trying to save that 1 amp that's going to the rear O2 sensor heater.
What's weird though, okay, so what's weird is when it was pegged out at 1107, Chad, speaking of amperage, if you looked at the amperage on the heater circuit PID, it was at 1 amp. But they're only duty cycling it at 11%. So how does that work? Is that a scan tool thing?
Hey guys, I'll be right back.
I got a question for you. Speaking of gas and efficiency.
Yeah.
2020 Raptors, and I don't know how far back it goes. I learned today it has a V6. They got rid of the V8. What's going on with that?
Most of my customers with the Raptors have the EcoBoost engine.
They're running an EcoBoost.
They don't sell it or offer it anymore in a V8 though. No supercharged V8s anymore. They just got twin turbo V6s.
They're probably putting out more horsepower with the V6. I don't
right?
because I'm not a domestic guy, but the EcoBoost with the tuner, you can easily get those things 500 horsepower. I think factory stock they run like 15 or 16 pounds of boost, and with like a bully dog or something, you can jump them up to 18 or 19.
Have you seen the boost on a 1.4 GM?
I have not. Have either one of you guys?
It's over 19 psi in a 4-zone.
Have either one of you during tonight's stream? Are you having trouble hearing at all each other?
Yes.
Sometimes.
So
I'm like pushing my face towards my computer to try to hear what you're saying.
Yeah, Justin, it's this app. So what you got to do is go down to your settings and click the audio, and then click on microphone, and then back to like the other one, and it should fix it.
I mean, it works fine for me, but
I was having the same problem.
I'm using it in a web browser, so I'm not doing it on mobile.
Just keep clicking back and forth. Eventually, it fixes itself. It's this app. I told Rob, but Rob had to go the cheap route.
You can just leave it come back in.
Cheap. StreamYard is free, and I don't have to do this.
That's what I said.
You know, to stream.
Here's the thing. I didn't have any other options.
StreamYard's free.
It's StreamYard.
It's a free option.
Well, somebody give me a crash course in StreamYard then.
It's easy. You log in with Facebook and boom, you're done.
Are people even?
But can I share the software legally?
Yeah, Francisco.
You can also log in with YouTube, and the entire stream is saved to YouTube. But all this fancy background picture, I don't know how all that works. I just know I just press go, baby, go, and it goes. You know,
Francisco
Do you
says
share
since
other screens?
2016.
You share other screens like Pico?
I don't share streams at all. I delete them because usually we get too, well, nuts on my channel. You know, we do stupid shit, so I just delete them.
So
Yeah,
2016 and newer on the EcoBoost is running port injection and direct injection, if I understand Francisco correctly. I didn't know that they also were running port injection on the
When did they?
on
What?
the Ford
When did they
platforms.
start running port? When?
I'm not sure if that's
Last year,
what
I
he's
think.
referring to. I know
2018?
Toyota started doing it, but
Oh, great.
I'll look it
Francisco
up
says
right now.
2016.
Add another variable to that engine that it don't need. That
Nobody
engine,
needs it.
that engine's problematic. I don't care what anyone says.
I got another
But now you
question.
can make more power because you have more fuel.
Well, of course it's got a lot of power.
So instead of
Has anyone worked on any of the newer? Has anyone worked on any of the newer Mustangs lately?
No.
Like with the Coyote engine?
I've had one Mustang probably 2 years ago, and it had no oil pressure. And I cranked the car with my oil pressure gauge out, had nothing coming out of the port, and the guy still wanted me to put an oil pump in it.
Was it hard?
Plug screens.
I did the oil pump, but then it was knocking as soon as I started it.
Plug screens.
But like, I mean, like, was it difficult though? Did you have to like jack the engine up or anything like that to get the oil pan out to do it?
I didn't take it out of the car. I put it in the car.
I was wondering because I'm working on this 4.6 liter
It
doing
was a
heads on it.
V6.
I'm doing heads on a 4.6. I just thought it was really funny that on the driver's side, it seemed like you had quite a bit of room. Passenger side, they like pushed it as close as they could to the firewall. I felt like I was almost working on a 6 liter at first because I had to pull the bolts up and use baling twine to tie them up. And still the bolts were like that much longer sticking out of the bottom of the head. And I'm like, dude, what the hell, man? It was a chore to say the least to get them out. Because, you know, if I don't have to do anything crazy, I don't want to. If I can slide it out, I'll do just about anything on the ground without having to use a lift, because that's what I'm accustomed to. But I had it on a lift, got the exhaust, no O2 stuff out of the way. The starter. What in the hell was Ford thinking with the starter? You only needed 2 bolts. Why'd you put 3 in? Because you put the third one so far under the head, you can't get to it. It's ridiculous. I don't know.
What were they thinking?
Guys, what's the Raptor under? I was going to look it up.
They
What is the
weren't
Raptor
thinking.
under?
They weren't thinking on that starter, and the only reason I can say that is because I'm doing freaking manifolds on the 5.4 3-valve today.
I'm not sure about the Raptor, man. I just know that a guy came
what's it under?
20 Raptor and he wanted to put aftermarket lights on it, but he did not want us to drill through the roof, which is what the rough country light bar that he brought in says, drill it through the roof. And it was a brand new truck, and he wasn't excited about that, nor would I be. And I was like, well, you're the one that wants this big ass light bar on it. So I mean, I don't know. So he took it to another shop to see if they could do it.
So
See, I've installed
Francisco,
quite a bit of lighting for one of my customers.
are you sure about that? Because I have not seen port and direct injection on the F-150s 2016.
I'm looking it up. I'm looking it up in the wiring diagrams, but it doesn't show a Raptor for 2016, only 17.
I haven't seen it.
Francisco says
I mean, I could be wrong.
2016. Francisco Diaz says since 2016 run dual injection, port, and direct.
Is that on the EcoBoost or the 5
So
liter?
are they?
Francisco,
Oh,
Chad's asking you a question if it's on the EcoBoost or if it's just on the, what do you say, 5 liter? 5 liter.
Oh, did he say 5 liter?
He said F-150s and Raptors.
Well,
the
F-150
Raptor
is a
edition.
Raptor.
But I don't know what engine size yet. I'm still waiting to hear back from him. He's in the chats.
It's got to be the 3.5, I'd imagine. I can't see him doing it on.
I'm only seeing 6 injectors for 2017.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's
I've
with a 3.5 twin turbo.
But I think he's talking about the Raptor edition.
That's what I picked. I picked 3.5 liter Raptor.
Yeah, but are we talking about the 3.5 or the 5 liter?
I don't know.
Oh,
I can
yeah.
go to 5 liter.
Yeah, check the 5 liter.
Because I would think the twin turbo would be the one out of all of them to have it.
I mean,
Mm,
Toyota runs it in vehicles that are done non-forced injection.
He said Raptors might be 2017. Yeah, but Francisco, what liter, bro?
If I pick 5 liter, Raptor isn't an option.
yeah, it's
And Raptor's only an option for that one engine, the twin turbo. Yeah, I only see 2017 only shows one set of injectors.
I haven't seen any. I haven't seen that setup on Ford yet. I haven't.
He said 3.5 EcoBoost, last generation of.
Okay, so looking at the all data parts and labor, it shows fuel injection, injector, a lower injector or an upper injector. And there's 2 different part numbers.
What year?
2017.
So they are running it.
Really? Well, I looked at the wiring diagram and I only saw one set of injectors.
Like I said, I don't know for sure. That's why I'm curious. So they're running that for what?
So I'm just
Emission?
looking at both. Well, a lot of vehicles
I would think
have
emission.
better idle stability on port injection.
I mean, you don't get carbon buildup.
I'll be honest with you. It's
Okay,
a
I'm gonna
smart
share
idea
my-
to do on the 3.5 because that damn direct injection standalone was no good for that engine.
Okay, can you guys see my screen here?
Hold on. We'll make
Yes.
we'll make you famous. There you go, you're famous.
Okay. So this
Yes.
is the
You could become a website.
This is the lower injector here, which is the direct injection injector. Now, there's a couple here that probably are miscellaneous links, but all the ones with the matching part number up here, direct injection injectors. But the upper injector is a regular port injector. Now, there's only one character difference between the direct injection injector and the port injector, which is why some of these other ones show up down here lower. But
Oh, you know what? I found it. I found it on a diagram. It does show.
yeah, and I guess
Damn it,
I haven't
Rob.
had any fuel system failures on any of the newer EcoBoosts yet, so I haven't had to diagnose one. Honestly, I have a few customers with them, and I've done a couple of turbos, a couple catalytic converters, and we have one customer with like a 2018 Raptor that we've put like $10,000 in lighting on.
Good God.
Well, Fords don't break.
If you own a 3.5 EcoBoost, you better have a big wallet. That's all I'm going to say.
If you have a diesel, anything, you better have a deep wall. That's for damn sure.
Yeah,
Yes.
all of my diesel customers, I ask them if they absolutely need to have a diesel truck, because if they don't, then it'd be cheaper for them to find something else. Otherwise, every time they come in, it's going to be at least $1,000.
they can buy the new Ford 7.4 liter gasoline motor.
I know Jim Kramer's pretty hot on the new Ford F-150s, and he wants to get one for his wife. So I'd be excited to see, or at least test drive one of them to see what it looks like under the hood and how it drives.
So Francisco says it's for reducing carbon buildup because the port injector is going to be spraying onto the valve and eliminating some of that carbon buildup, which we've been having an issue with, and then extensive idling issues. Now,
Thank you.
The reason I know about the idle issue is for Toyota, DS4 engines. They call it DS4, but it has port and direct injection on some of the 4 cylinders, and I think a lot of the V6s in the newer vehicles. And they start up off of, I believe, the port injection, and then they switch over to the direct injection, and then they kind of run a blend depending on the load conditions, just for different engine loads and how smooth they can make that engine off of each injector.
I'll tell you what.
I wish I knew what you guys knew.
That makes sense on that 3.5, because I'll tell you what, you have nothing but carbon buildup problems. So if they can perfect that, it's not a bad thing. Now, how is Ford going to eliminate the problems of feeding that left side driver's side turbo with those stupid screens that like to clog up and then waste the turbo? Just saying. How about take the screens out? Am I wrong?
I'm gonna tell you, I'm impressed with a lot of things that you guys do, and how you explain it and how you break it down. Because I just feel like I'm almost at a mule shop, dude. Today, here was my guy. He's like, "Hey, you want to diagnose a car today? You want to get in diagnostics, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, right." He goes, "Cool. Got the fuel gauge hooked up in case you want to see what fuel is." I was like, "All right, cool." So I go over there, and he's like, "It's a crank no start." So I had the guy cycle the keys, 0 PSI. I was like, "Oh, well, there we go. Here's a problem, right? Go ahead and crank it." Nothing happens. It cranks, but there's no movement. He goes, "Oh, smack the tank with a hammer, a soft dead blow, and then see." So I do. It starts right up, it runs, and there's no pressure. And I was like, I don't understand. And so then he's like, so the guy inside the cab goes, "Well, is it hooked up?" And I looked at the gauge. I'm like, "Nope." So I connect it, and then he turns the truck off. Now we can't get it to stop starting. And he goes, "Well, there it is. It needs a fuel pump." And I was like, how is that a diagnosis? Like, I smacked the fuel hammer. It started.
How it works.
And the gauge wasn't hooked up in the beginning. It's got perfect pressure, but because I touched the tank with a hammer and I didn't have the gauge hooked up, that's what it is. And he's like, "Yep." Okay.
But
off to the clutch job. So I was like, there's no fucking diagnosis. That was just dumb luck, and then they threw something at it, hoping that it works and sticks.
You could have.
So what kind of vehicle was it?
You could have caught that with the curve.
It was a Ford F-150 long bed, like 93 or something.
Okay, so old. One thing you can do, and what I do on the GMs, is I throw an amp clamp around that fuel pump lead, and I watch it on the lab scope. And then you.
Oh no, I don't get those opportunities. It takes me. Apparently, I don't know what I'm doing. It takes me too long to set up. It's a fuel pump. So the soft dead blow means that it is a fuel pump.
But even if it started up and you wanted to prove that it was bad, you could hook the amp clamp up and then beat on the tank again with the dead blow and see if your waveform gets all jacked up.
I would love to prove.
You would see it, Chad. You would see it.
But that is just how quick today went. And I was like, I hate my life. I fucking hate my life.
Justin, he's right. I mean, he's just shortcutting. You know it's a bad segment in front. So what I'm saying is,
I'm sorry, man. You're cutting out so bad, and I can barely hear through this fourth-party app.
All right,
It's
hold
not
on.
even a third party app. It's a fourth party.
Hold on. Okay. If you were to current ramp that pump like Chad said, can you hear me now?
Kind of.
Okay. You current ramp that pump, you're going to have to do it back at the fuel pump control module, which is a bitch, which is not fun to get to on a GM because it's up by the spare.
It's a Ford, though.
He's avoiding it like the flag.
It's a Ford.
Unwrap the harness to get around the wire. Okay? The gray wire or whatever wire. Chad, are you laughing at me?
He's laughing. He's laughing so hard.
Why?
Because it's a 93 Ford.
Oh, it's a Ford. Never
It's a
mind.
Ford.
Even worse. Even worse because Ford, I gotta go above the tank, which means I gotta fight around the damn drive shaft to get my current ramp, most likely.
No, you go to the fuse.
Huh?
You
No.
go to the fuse.
There
Fords-
is
Fords
no.
have a
You
fuel
got the
pump
fuel
relay.
There's
You
no
gotta-
few.
Oh wait, we're a '93 Ford. I'm an idiot. Never mind.
Yeah.
Fuse.
Yeah. Those old
Or the
Fords have
relay. Get a relay bypass kit if it has a relay.
they have
Either
an
way,
I have
relay.
one.
You're gonna see it in the
I have not even taken the cellophane wrap off of it because they just don't want me doing it.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Fords.
I have an opinion about this because I talked to my Matco rep, and he used to work at our shop before he decided to sell tools. He said he was lucky in the regards where he barely had to do any engine work or heavy line work. All they hired him for was smogs and diagnostics. And I'm sitting there thinking, and I've seen this at the dealership too. Man, so I must just have like donkey written across my forehead because there are some guys that just never, ever, 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 ever get heavy line jobs or light line jobs. They strictly, and I call it the Nintendo for a reason. They strictly play on Nintendo the whole fucking day. They can eat 6 meals, take 4 shits, disappear for an hour and a half for lunch when it's a 1 hour lunch, and then they're making all of a sudden 60 fucking hours. And I'm sitting here and I got 2-cylinder head jobs, a clutch job, a wiring repair harness job, and they're like, well, you can't diagnose for shit. You didn't even give me a chance. You just told me I beat on the fucking tank needs a fuel pump. Congratulations, you diagnosed your first truck. Bullshit! I didn't do anything. I didn't verify spark. I didn't fucking check nothing. And you're throwing a fuel pump at it. Guess what? I hope it doesn't fucking start. Yeah, I said it. I hope it doesn't start after we put the fuel pump in. I hope we wasted all of our fucking time because you decided to throw a fuel pump at it. I said it.
But look how fast you diagnosed it.
Job security.
It's
No. Coming in, you still got cylinder head jobs in that to do.
And people told me the parts canning because I'm like, well, you can diagnose it without it. How? I've seen it for the last 4 years. You wave your magic fucking wrench at it, boom. Needs heads. Are you sure? Yep. How? I don't know. The bulb turned green, but it's not yellow. Oh, it's green. Fucking heads. Okay. Oh, look. It's kind of clean on the piston. We called it right. Sure you did. Fuck.
5 gas analyzer.
Oh my god. I even got this. I was like, oh, I got this super cool tool, which I still have to mail the other one off to Brian. And this is gonna tell us that it's 100% certain better than the bulb. Fuck that. No.
No,
The bulb told us all. The fluid's already green. When they
that's
gave
getting
it
sucked
to
up
us,
antifreeze.
you're
That's
failing
right.
it off the color that it already is. I don't understand. I don't. I just don't.
So I quit using the bulb test because I thought I got a bad batch of the test fluid because there was a vehicle that exhaust was coming out of the radiator and the fluid wouldn't turn yellow. The test fluid would not turn yellow. And that's when I quit using the stuff and I just...
Well, it only reacts to, was it carbon dioxide or something?
But that's the only thing I check for
Hydrocarbons.
with the 5 gas. Because...
Yeah, but the fluid only checks for carbon dioxide.
I know, but
Yeah.
when I use the 5-gas analyzer, I rarely look for hydrocarbons are almost always at 0, even if it's a known bad head gasket. The newer vehicles, they just burn a little bit cleaner. Plus, I think as that exhaust gas kind of goes through the coolant, some of that stuff gets stripped away. But the only way that you can produce carbon dioxide is through a burning process. So that if there's carbon dioxide in there, then it's coming from combustion gases. Because what's going out the tailpipe is 15% carbon dioxide.
And
So
water.
it's really, really easy to test for. Well, I know, but 15% of that is carbon dioxide. And hardly any of that is NOx or CO2 or CO, carbon monoxide, or hydrocarbons. Those numbers are very, very low. But if 15% of your exhaust emissions is carbon dioxide, then it's going to be really easy to detect that in the antifreeze. Plus, if someone put stop leak in there, I don't know what kind of stop leak they use. Does it have some type of petroleum base or some type of hydrocarbon in it? I have no idea. But as far as I can tell, with some research, I can't find anything that can produce carbon dioxide.
You should make a video putting egg and pepper and stuff in there and see what comes out with the 5-gas.
Yeah, I always made the joke, especially with the 3.6 Jeeps that come in, because they're just notorious for having bad heads, especially if you have a multiple cylinder misfire on one specific side. And I was like, well, we can just do like that old timer did, and if you want to fail a cylinder head, just walk back to the tailpipe of the exhaust, squirt the little bubble at it, and when it turns yellow, bring it to the customer and say, there you go.
We're done right there.
So my Jasper engine rep, last time he was in a couple of months ago, was talking about that 3.6 engine. And I guess because of the way that the cylinder head is the cylinder block is an open block design, there's no webbing to attach the cylinders securely to the edge of the block. Those cylinders, pretty much the sleeve, they sit there and they wiggle around, and it just wears out the head gasket. So what they're doing now is they're drilling and pinning the adjoining cylinders together to try and reinforce it and strengthen it to try and limit, the head gasket wear.
Wow. Well, if they just stud their cylinder heads, they'd be done.
I get so annoyed at the fucking cylinder head shit that comes up at our shop.
Hey guys, look at this.
Especially the 6-liters. They actually told me today, like, got another 6-liter for you. I'm like, fuck you. Give me a break. How many of these goddamn things do I got to do?
You should come up here, man.
That looks like a tensioner. Is that off a Dodge?
No, I was out of my Explorer.
What in the hell?
See what happened. So watch this. I'll wipe all the oil off with this rag. So when you squeeze this and close this hole, watch right here at this lip. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but you'll see oil actually come out around the plunger. Let's see if we can
run it. Not a big deal. Did it make noise?
Yeah, a lot of noise.
Oh yeah, and then just change it
It
out.
actually broke all the guides.
It's not a big deal. The hell with it. Run it.
Hey, if it's just a little bit of oil coming out, run it. But if it makes noise, then dump it.
Hold on. Is that out of a GM?
Yeah.
No, it's out of my Explorer.
Yeah, it's out of a Ford Explorer.
Well.
Did you see the oil in the shaft? Is it right there?
Yeah, isn't that normal?
Yeah.
No, it wore away the plunger.
Mm.
There's a taper in the plunger right here.
The taper I'm not worried about. The oil I'm not worried about. The noise obviously is concerning.
Well, see, this thing's been sitting here for like 2 months now on the workbench, so it doesn't have as much oil in it. But before, when you push this down, it would just pour out the sides.
The thing is that those things need oil pressure in order to maintain the tension. So
we built the whole motor. This is a brand new.
And when you fire it up, it's going to sound like a clattering bitch. But after about 10 to 15 minutes, it'll go away.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is a brand new Ford tensioner. See the marks in the metal right here? Because it wore it away.
Now, is that one of the 4-liter overhead cams that have the one timing chain in the back of the head?
Yeah, I rebuilt this motor, and this thing lasted like, I don't know, 3,000 miles or something before it broke all the guides.
Sick.
So you know what I did now? There's a company that found out, well, people on the Ford forum found out that you can use the tensioners, the manual tensioners from the, what the heck are they? The Razor? I think, are they the Razor 4x4s or whatever?
Yeah, most of the off-road vehicles use a manual style tensioner.
Yeah, well, they actually use these tensioners pretty much like from Ford. And the company stopped making them. And they were it's for the Polaris. The Polaris, what are they, Razors or whatever? They had the same issue. And then people had a manual tensioner made, so I got them and put them in an Explorer. No more noises. It's quiet.
Because of a new tensioner.
But it's manual. You set it. You thread it in by hand.
Oh.
Yeah, you have to adjust it. So as the timing chains wear, you have to retension it.
But there is no way for it to slack.
See, if they would have just built a good designing tensioner that has a ratcheting mechanism in it, then you wouldn't have that problem.
Actually, they have one for the Polaris. It was like $150 though. That's why I didn't buy them. They have a pre-oiler on them. I guess it has like a spring or something in it.
I have a question. So, like, here's the deal.
It's junk.
Well, outside of that, they're all junk. Just what flavor of the month you want. I just think it makes no sense to me. So, like, if you're going to run variable valve timing, how many things are we running off of our oil pump on modern?
That's why I made that video on the Cadillac with the variable oil pump.
I know, but what they need to be doing is they need to be considering an external reservoir specifically designed to feed your VVT and feed your turbos with an electronic or electric, either an electric or a cam-driven oil pump specifically for those systems. But they're not going to do it.
So you want a sump. You want a sump pump that's separate from the main pickup.
Yes, sir.
Well,
because
he's probably saying it so you don't get any debris.
Yes.
Because it would be completely isolated from the motor.
I don't want like a 3.5 EcoBoost. Why am I feeding my turbos with the oil for the engine? The hell with that. Run that separate. Same with the VVT systems. And then you eliminate all your problems right there.
Don't tell BMW this.
Well, that's not entirely true because then the mechanic has extra stuff to take apart, and which means more special tools and special fasteners. So,
and then you have
the quadra square fastener to tighten that one down.
Triple triangle square.
Triple square, quadra square. Let's throw. Oh, I know. Here we go. A turbo triple torque square. There you go.
Ooh.
So I know somebody that took their Corvette to the dealership for their first oil change, and the tech drained 1 quart of oil out and then put another like 10 in. And he was asking him why they were pushing his car out of the bay after like 30 minutes. He was there.
What the hell?
They never drained the dry sump.
How did this guy not get fired?
And then they're like, "Oh, we'll get you a new motor." And I'm like, "I'd be happy with a new car. It's my first oil change."
We've had numerous situations like that when I was at the dealership. Very few at the independent, unless the customer did it himself, which I think I talked to you two about the other day, where the guy came in and he's like, "Ever since you guys did my trans service a year ago, 8,000 miles ago, I just changed my oil and now it's slipping, and I don't know how I could lose that much." My manager's like, "Well, there has to be a leak from somewhere." And the only spot that we found that was wet was the drain plug on the bottom of his Ford pickup. And once we put it in the air to show him, he goes, "Oh, I drained the wrong thing. I did the oil change. I changed the filter, and that's the plug I took off to drain. Never mind the fact that maybe it came out red and not black.
Oh, it might have came out
So
black.
he put 8 quarts of oil in. So he was, I think, no, not 8 quarts. I'm sorry. It was only a 6-quart system or something like that, I think. But he had like 8.5 quarts or 9 quarts of oil that came out. And I'm sitting there going, what happened to the rest?
Oh
he
my
ran
God.
for a day. And I was like, well, we know what he did now. He anteed up to it. He could have been a dick and been like, yeah, you guys did it, you know, kind of thing. But he's like, well, I guess I'm getting too old to change my own oil. I guess I'll just start bringing it here from now on.
Hey,
You don't charge that much for oil changes. It's like $40 or $50. That's the inspection. That's everything. And I thought that was actually pretty reasonable. It's not the $20 Walmart special, but I mean, come on, right? But yeah, he drained his trans and filled his engine.
Well, if you go to Walmart, you might not get oil.
Oh, that's another video. See, I don't know how to prove this, but I heard a lot of people say that the SuperTech, when you run it, and I have seen some oil loss as a result, but if I use other oil, the oil seems to stay in. I've heard a lot of people say that's because the SuperTech oil that they use is so terrible that it literally burns out. So when I would bring it in after putting SuperTech oil in of a 6-quart system in my GMC, I'd only have 3 left. So I told my wife, I said, forget trying to change it every 3,000 miles. We got to start changing it every 1,500 because clearly we're losing half the capacity somewhere. I'm thinking something in the valve train or whatever, and it all came down to oil. I've been rerunning Valvoline and Castrol now, and I'm like, I haven't lost any oil. So is that true? You use cheaper oil and it just burns itself out? I don't know. Is that a thing?
you really don't know
I don't
because
think so.
unless you
I mean-
send it out to a lab.
Maybe you should measure how much is in the bottle. Maybe they're not filling the bottle as full.
Dude, it was a big-ass jug. I mean, there's no mistaking. It was filled.
You can't put it past them to be putting cheap oil in there. They could be marketing it. You just don't know.
I'm just wondering if you guys have ever ran into a situation where you've used a cheaper oil that it burned half the capacity. Now, I know that Chrysler and Volkswagen and some other companies say this is how much oil loss you should have within this time frame because it does burn. But have you seen it burn faster and cheaper oil? Like, that's my question. Like, I was surprised that our Volkswagen, they say 10,000 mile oil change, but it's normal for it to burn 3/4 of a quart every 1,000 miles. And I'm going, well, by the time I hit 10,000, we're out of oil.
Well, isn't Dodge 1 quart every 500?
That's what they said. Every 1,000 miles, it burns at least half to 3/4 of a quart. And I'm like, WTF, right? What the fuck?
I bought a used Toyota Highlander hybrid. It had 140,000 miles on it. Bought it from the dealership, Ford dealership. But the oil level was full when I bought it. When it was time for the first oil change, it was at the add mark.
Wow.
So I assume that they used just generic bulk cheap oil at the dealership when they did their, their inspection on it or their PDI. And I've always put Schaefer synthetic oil in it, and I go 5,000 mile intervals, and it doesn't use any oil now. So
No.
whatever oil they put in obviously was getting used or burnt up somehow, whether it, was foaming more and was getting blown through the PCV valve, whether it was, thinning out and making it past the oil control rings and burning that way. I don't really know. But I do know that changing oil has fixed the issue.
See, here's an interesting topic because I haven't worked at every single dealership known to man. Just one. And an independent shop. And then also Sears Auto Center. Sears Auto Center, we ran Valvoline. The dealership, we ran Pennzoil. And over at the independent shop, I don't know what the fuck the name of it. Safety Clean comes by and fills up the barrels. The barrels are post-dated. It's like some weird off-name brand.
Is it Titan?
No, it's like I'll take a picture of it and send it to you guys tomorrow. It's a weird brand that I'd never even heard of until I went to this independent shop. I would consider this oil a cheap oil because it's not even on the shelves at the auto parts store. But I don't know. And I know that CarQuest, people that buy CarQuest or Advanced Auto Oil, I knew the manager and the owner up in Oregon, and they told me that they just rebrand logo Valvoline oil. So that's the only thing it is. They get a discount by buying from them, but they can rebrand it with their sticker. So when you go into like CarQuest, it is Valvoline oil that you're buying from them.
It's bottled at the same manufacturing
owner
plant.
and manager of O'Reilly's, but theirs are under the same kind of gun where I think that theirs is either Castrol or Pennzoil. I'll get definite answers, but how interesting is it that it's not that it's cheap oil that the dealerships are using what I feel like is a good quality oil. Same thing as these auto parts stores. They're just rebranding it differently to make it a little bit cheaper.
So the Valvoline is, unless it's changed, was refined and bottled at Ashland Oil Refinery. And that's also where the CarQuest house brand and the Napa house brand are bottled. They're bottled at the same plant, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're getting the same additive package. But the CarQuest oil, like the CQ 935, is a 5W40 oil that right on the bottle, it says that it meets Volkswagen 50100 and 50200. It doesn't meet the spec for the diesels, but the CQ 935 works on the gasoline Volkswagens up until a certain year range when they updated the spec. If they put that,
I would love this
bottle,
information and a video clip from you and have you send it to me so I can incorporate it into a video, and then I'll film the different aspects that I'm doing, whether it's going to O'Reilly's or showing you guys the stuff at my shop and talking about it. I think this is a great discussion topic as far as like who's running what really at the end of the day.
Oil matters.
For reliability
Oil really
purposes.
matters. Oil matters.
That's the be all end all. That's the blood in the engine. You know?
Yeah, especially on these modern engines, because it's not like it used to be. Like in an old 90s vehicle, you could run whatever, but not so much anymore.
I got about 10 minutes and then I got to wrap it up.
Ditto.
Yeah, same here. So this is the CarQuest CQ 935 specifications, 5W40. It gives the API SN Plus, which is one of the newest ratings that they have. And the SN Plus, I believe, is for the GDI vehicles. It's a low ash, low this, low that, and it's designed to not burn, because they were finding out that the oil is what was causing this low engine RPM, high load. So turbo vehicles, when you romp on them, or GDI vehicles, when you romp on them from a stop, they were getting engine detonation, and it was caused by the oil burning. So the new oils don't burn as easily, and that's what that SN Plus designation was. It wasn't quite, they weren't quite ready for the next designation, but they changed some stuff in there to make it pre-ignite less often. And then this oil also meets some of the Benz specs, Volkswagen 502 and 505 and 50501, BMW. So we keep this stuff on the shelf. Now we also have 5W40 and 530 Euro blends in bulk as well at the shop now. But we still keep the CarQuest stuff. So if a customer comes in and wants to buy a quart, we have something that we can sell them.
Dope. Yeah. We're going to definitely continue this conversation in a video. I think this is important information.
Yeah, oil, man.
And this also meets the specs of Dexos 2, which I believe
For GM.
the newer bottles that we have in our shop say Dexos right on them. And if they're displaying the logo, then it means that they were fully approved by GM. So this is the 5W30, and it says Dexos 1 on the bottle. So that means that they paid to have GM test it and make sure that it was 100%.
I heard GM was one of the hardest ones to meet.
So I do believe
Yeah,
that
they are, because of how, and you heard it from me, how much of when I do an oil change, if I use something that doesn't say Dexos approved, how fast it fucking burns.
Oh, it'll burn fast.
That's the shit.
Yeah, that's why we get a lot of them in where we get them 2.4s in, and they come in with like 1 quart in them. It's like, where did you get to that finish from?
Guys, I'm gonna jetty for now. Thank you for having me on the stream, Rob, Chad, Polly. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll see ya.
Contact.
Yeah, we should cut it, Rob. I gotta get rolling, brother.
I'll see you guys later, man.
Well, we're waiting for Chad to tell us how much that oil meets the spec versus the OEM.
Well,
Oh, on the
I don't know.
Way past it, or is
I mean,
We'll find out in the video. We'll find out in the video.
it might
Yeah,
just
that's
barely
in the
match it,
next
but as long as it
video,
has the
Rob.
OEM spec.
A little teaser.
written
Yeah,
on
don't ruin the next video, Rob.
Don't ruin it just yet. Let's stack it up. Let's create a discussion. This is very interesting.
So Francisco says it's all about the additive packages in the oil, the differences between the different brands, and
I
then
posted that earlier in the chat. Like I posted it real big on the screen when you were looking at it going.
yeah, I wasn't looking. I was in a different window, and then during the early COVID free training, he said that there was a week of free training dedicated to.
Yeah, I know. I actually took them. I just don't remember too much of it.
But I'm going to take off as well.
Okay.
Starting to get kind of late. So you guys have a good night.
All right.
Yep. See you later.
You too, Chad.
See ya.
See you, Rob.
See you guys later. Hope you guys liked it.